And live from New York, it's Saturday night. Well, not exactly. We're not from New York. Metro Sky, look at this. People
Mm-hmm.
are already in here. Munin
Yeah.
is in here.
Hey, K Munin, how are you?
Brad
Brad
is
is
here.
here.
Stone
Stone
Sour.
Sour, how are you?
And Out
Out
of
of sight.
Sight is,
And Nerd
yeah,
101,
Austin. As
Austin.
we get ready to jump off another evening here, another
Yeah.
Saturday night special.
Yeah.
That was a good show.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday night. If those of you who ever saw Saturday Night Special, a lot of great live concert productions there, and shot live. It wasn't faked like on Top of the Pops where everybody had a lip sync or not be on the show.
Yeah, so we hope that you had a very uneventful week, that it was just easy going and fairly boring.
Lee has joined us.
Yeah, and if it was eventful, I hope the events were good events,
Mm-hmm.
that it brought you a lot of joy. And if not, then that's what life does. It throws you a monkey wrench. And just hoping that again you had a good week. Sending out prayers to the kids in Winder. Winder is not far from us. It's like 35, 40 minutes
Yeah.
north of us. So we're not going to rest there. We're not going to
Yeah.
talk about it. We're not going to discuss it. Don't want to know your opinions or thoughts. We're just saying, sending out prayers to the families that lost someone and the kids that are in the school that had friends that passed away or whatever. Um, just want to mention that, lift it up, and then we're going to move on because we don't.
Yeah, we try to avoid the
Yeah,
politics and social stuff. Keep
yeah.
this as much of a sanctuary as possible.
Exactly. But when things happen, we like to mention it
Mm-hmm.
and send out prayers or well wishes or whatever like that. So that's what we're doing.
So we have Pastor Rick is here.
Yeah, Pastor Rick is
Uh,
here.
Darren.
Darren is here, and Communion is saying what? By the way, all the Black Series figures on your last roundup.
Our repacks. Not surprised.
Hey Tommy, how are
David
you?
White is here.
Mm-mm.
Renard
Reynard is here. We
had a
said hey
good
to
week,
good.
and his CD speakers went out.
Oh, well,
And how was our
yeah.
week? Says Austin.
Um, it's been simmering down. We had a lot
Mm-hmm.
of events going on. Um, that wasn't all that amazing, but it's starting to simmer down somewhat.
Yeah.
Like I said, life throw you a lot of stuff, and you just got to deal with it.
Life gives you lemonades, and life gives you lemons, and it
Hmm.
sucks. But
I like In Living Color better
uh,
than Saturday
well,
Night Live.
Saturday Night Live by the time In Living Color was getting popular, Saturday Night Live was already starting to go downhill,
Yeah,
and it's never recovered, in my opinion.
it was funny.
Hmm.
When I was watching it, it was during the 80s period, like, because I remember
Yeah,
watching it as a kid, maybe a little bit in the 90s, but I don't think so. Because I do remember it getting bad, and I do remember not liking it anymore and stopping. But I know I watched it during the 80s. And then, like, in Living Color came out, I think, in the 90s, and
yeah,
I enjoyed
early
In Living
'90s,
Color.
and they've not to this day let go of Saturday Night Live. SNL now. Yeah,
Yeah.
Gilgamesh has joined us.
Yeah,
They
because everything is an
gotta
acronym.
have an acronym. You can't say Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's
That's a
KFC.
KFC and BK.
Yeah, BK. But it was immensely culturally significant when Saturday Night Live first came out as a variety comedy show. It would a lot of people I'm not old enough to remember. They would have watch parties for this, like college frat houses and stuff. They'd have like 100 people around TV sets all over the place in bars and again frat houses, other college settings, watch parties for the show
Hmm.
because it was so groundbreaking at the time. And it's kind of like how come the Tonight Show is still on. Tonight Show's ratings are so bad they're cutting it to 4 nights a week now.
Hmm.
Um, or they've announced that they were going to be cutting it, but it's outlived its usefulness. Saturday Night Live probably should have been taken off the air 20 years ago, and they won't
Yeah.
let it go. The same thing happened with In Living Color too, because they had so many creative differences between the show's creators and the other producers that, I mean, if you look at the last season of In Living Color, you probably won't even recognize anybody. The only couple of people they had left were locked into a contract, and so they couldn't go. Everyone else walked away because they were pissed.
Mm-hmm.
So that show was killed too. And they were really significant because it's because of In Living Color that you have an NFL halftime show, because they made fun of the fact that the NFL's halftime show, the Super Bowl halftime,
Mm-hmm.
was so boring. They said, "Hey, come watch us instead," and they ran a special timed exactly during the Super Bowl halftime show and got one of the highest ratings in history. And then the Super Bowl said, or NFL said, "We can never let that happen again. We've got to put on a big production from now on." So
Yeah,
it's,
now you got that garbage that you get
oh
every
yeah,
year at the Super
that's
Bowl.
gotten old too. Darren
Yeah.
says Saturday Night Live was still funny with Phil Hartman during the Phil Hartman era.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not funny anymore. I don't
I
remember
rem-
that one too well.
I
Mad.
remember
Yeah.
Mad TV being on, but I don't think I really watched it like seriously to pay attention to it all that. Because you had, I think Mad TV was on along with Kids in the Hall and things like that, those type of shows, and I never cared for Kids in the Hall. I remember Mad TV, but
Kids in the Hall was it was also from Saturday Night Live. It was
mm,
all filmed in Canada, but very agenda driven,
mm-hmm,
given the gender preference of the entire crew.
mm.
Then we'll just leave that there. That's why it's kind of weird. It's a weird show
I
because
know they tried to bring it back
it
recently.
leans towards that genre.
Mm.
Um, Mad TV, I don't remember it too well, except I remember them making fun of Steven Seagal a lot. And Darren says their oldest siblings would watch the early seasons of SNL. Oh, I see how you glazed over.
Oh no, it
Yeah.
jumped when I was doing
Tommy
it.
said Men on Football was the funniest skit. Men on Film.
Yeah, Men on
Yeah.
Film from in Living Color.
And
No,
Munin wants that crown.
no.
It's back there somewhere. It's
Yeah,
back there
well, it's
somewhere.
not gonna make an
Oh
appearance this
no.
week.
I think she thinks I overdid it last time. Robert is
Hey,
here.
Robert, how are you? Any new figure buys?
Not figures, although we did find some stuff. We did find some things at
Hey,
an
James.
actual yard sale today.
Yeah, we
Which
stopped by
is
a yard sale up the
rare.
street, and we've been to that lady's yard sale, and every time we go there, we
Yeah,
find something.
there's something. And I
sticking.
found a couple of things. I found a couple of things this morning when we were out for a
Mhm.
little bit. The only yard sale we went to, although it's not that easy to find anymore, and very often when you go to a yard sale, it's either a junk, baby clothes and stuff,
Baby furniture.
baby furniture, lawn furniture, whatever, or it's an okey doke yard sale. It's not really a yard sale because they're professionals, and you
Yeah.
see stuff that you would see at the flea market, and you're like, "The hell is this?"
Yeah, like
Munin
power
said,
tools and stuff.
Munin says, "At least we got a glimpse
Yeah, that's
of the
all you're
crown."
gonna get.
Oh no! See how she's treating me today. But I found some interesting oddball stuff there because she had.
Out of sight, like your shirt, and
Oh, thank
Raccoon
you.
Eyes is here.
Raccoon is here. Yeah, there's, see, it's
Yeah, very Japanese anime.
yeah. Well, not anime. This is classical, like Japanese art. The their feudal period art.
Okay.
But a couple of things that she had. I got some pumpkins. Blow mold pumpkins, anybody?
Mhm.
Although I cannot find a marking on these to determine where they're from. And of course, they go on both sides, and you can't see that. They can stand,
Mhm.
and they have a hole drilled so you can put a light in there. I'm not sure where these are from, but I mean, I know something that's vintage when I see it.
Mhm.
There's a hole drilled there so you can hang them. You can do a lot with these pumpkins. And I was like, this kind of stuff, sometimes it's referred to as kitschy.
Yeah.
Oh, Keebler is here.
He can't stay long. He just wanted to say hi and hit that like button.
Well, we appreciate you dropping
yeah,
in.
we appreciate that.
Yeah. And look, see, another one.
What? Did you buy any classic comic books yet?
No.
We haven't bought comic books
For a
in
minute,
a while.
yeah. Austin wants to know where's the king? I'm the king. I'm the king. You're gonna get me going here in a minute.
He died a couple of thousand years ago.
Yeah, and Gilgamesh says Ukiyo-e art shirt. Feudal Japan artwork. But
yeah, Robert.
These were here. These were at the art sale. They were dirt cheap giveaway prices.
Hey,
this
Jack.
kind of like kitschy blow mold, like vintage lawn art or decorations getting very popular. I see Just Jeff was there.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff.
We're gonna do the same thing we do every Halloween, as Robert is asking. We're gonna shut the porch light off and hide. But
our porch light don't work anyway.
Well, but anyways, the other one, and Raccoon caught it. You didn't put the comment up yet, but she said blow molds are popular now. Yeah, those vintage blow molds. The vintage ones are selling for quite a bit. And I got this one, the hanging owl lamp, and it does roost. You can set it like this, and it'll sit. It'll sit if you just leave it like that. But it's got the hanging tab. This is a lantern, and it does work. So hold on a second. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it. Let me turn it on. There we go. Look at that. And this one is marked, and I think it's made by Union Plastics or something. This one ain't cheap. It was cheap at the yard sale, but I was like, golly, because again, some of this stuff is going for some surprising money now.
You gonna sell it?
No, I don't think I want to sell this. I think I want to keep it, because why not? Why not? That's just really cool. Who was the actual manufacturer on this? It's like Union Products. Made in Lexington, Massachusetts. But yeah, this one kind of surprised me. And for just paying a couple of bucks for something at a yard sale.
Gilgamesh collect that type of art that's on your shirt. He likes that kind of stuff.
They make nice woodblock frame prints of this kind of stuff.
I don't need a crown at all. Really means cheesy, but cool.
Kitsch. Yeah, and they say that about a lot of vintage stuff. Especially like kitchen decorative things and stuff like that. Cool. Gilgamesh wants to hang that in the greenhouse.
Oh yeah, it might keep some of the birds away.
Yeah, Darren wants me to put it in the backyard for the cats. I don't think they'll care about it.
No, but they're always trying to catch those birds though.
Out of sight said blow molds are $60 a piece. What are
blow molds?
Which blow molds?
Be frightened. No cats. No, not those old.
No.
Ghetto cats out there. They ain't scared of nothing. They're always trying to catch those birds and stuff, and they can't.
Stone Sour.
Hey, Stone Sour, thank you.
Stone Sour made a donation, and he's trying to encourage me to put that crown back on.
If we can get 15 likes. We don't know how many likes because we can't see the likes, so we wouldn't know how many
we can't see it.
All we can see is how many people are watching.
Yeah,
how many likes.
Not how many likes, so we can't see it.
So we don't know how many likes we got.
Unfortunately. But hey, if people want to keep trying to influence me to put the crown on for a few minutes, then I might be tempted. I picked these up in Goodwill. These are just a couple of DVDs. Who remembers Fortress?
Nobody.
You've seen it. We've watched this together. There's a Christopher Lambert in Fortress. So you might remember Christopher Lambert from the Mortal Kombat movie, the first one. AMH says one of the strays I feed had kittens. I'll be looking for good homes for them. 3 tuxedos and 1 black with white feet. Oh, they're in Winder. Okay,
where the shooting. We talked about that earlier.
Yes. Remember, don't try to wean them until they're 12 weeks.
Yeah, just let them nurse. And all of that. So you don't give them away until about 2-3 months at the least 2, but
Yeah,
about 3 weeks.
not 3 weeks.
I mean 3 months.
3 months,
3 months.
12
I'm
weeks.
sorry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. 3 months.
And if you're going to try to get mama fixed, not until after she's weaned,
Yeah.
because when they have to medicate them to do that, and the milk will be toxic to the kittens.
Yeah.
So you can't fix her until after that's done.
Yeah.
But yeah, for Austin says, do I hate modern toys? No, I just prefer the vintage ones. I prefer the vintage one. Fortress with Christopher Lambert, and this is the one where he is him and his wife. It's post-apocalyptic, and they're trying to cross a border, and she's trying to hide a pregnancy, and they get busted, and they both go to prison. And he has the a tracking device that they made him swallow, and they get it out with a magnet, and all this crazy stuff's going on. Really weird post-apocalyptic film.
Okay.
So I grabbed that because why not?
Oh, that's cool. You got the sound wave.
3-0 reissue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got that. I like those 3-0 figures. The only one I don't like is the Optimus Prime, because that's before they put the die cast in the feet. So the Optimus Prime doesn't stand well. The sound wave, I want to say he don't stand well either. But by the time they got the Megatron, they put the die cast in the feet so he can stand on his own. But I mean, all in all, I like them though. I just don't like the fact that they can't stand, and then the stands that they give you are too high, so their feet don't touch the ground. It kind of dangles.
Yeah, it's
in
weird.
the air.
It's weird.
They don't pose like that picture you're gonna
No,
get.
it will take you an hour to get them into a pose. And,
Yeah,
things fall off, and you got to stick them back on, and it's pain in the butt.
But if you trying to do what you see in that little book they give you, just be careful.
Yeah.
I love that video of Hobo.
The one where he's sleeping, and Stone Sour didn't like him as Raiden.
Oh.
And then Out of Sight, is that the guy from Highlander? Yes, from the first film.
Okay, yeah, Nerd says that film. Too.
Yes.
In Highlander, everybody remember.
Keebler said, "Did you hear about StreamYard price increase?"
Oh no.
Only their business customers aren't changing. Yeah, I think that they went up like $4 a month or something. Is that right? And Gilgamesh, did you see the Ultimates figure Super 7 is selling at Target? Yeah, we showed them on the roundup.
We showed that the Thundercats.
Yeah, it's carded, and the accessories are gone. No no hand change outs, nothing. Lionel just has a sword and the claw shield, and that's it. Robert says, I love Fortress, one of his best, along with, that's right, Greystoke, The Legend of Tarzan in the 80s. He starred in that.
Oh,
that
it was a Fortress 2?
Of course it was a sequel. The other one I picked up.
Okay.
Oh, come on. Any 70s kids here?
Puff the Magic Dragon.
Voiced by Burgess Meredith. Burgess Meredith did the voice of the dragon. And this is all 3 of the TV specials from the 70s. All 3 of them. Haven't seen this since I was a kid, but I spotted this. No, I didn't get these from Goodwill. I got these from Value Village.
I don't know where you got
So I paid like $1 a piece for these. But yeah, I saw this, and I remember watching those when I was a kid. It's like, oh crap, it's Puff. So sure, man, I'll grab that. Why not? I mean, the nostalgia is what it's all about. AMH says, thanks for the tips. I never dealt with kittens. They're all safe in the garage. Found a place that will get them all fixed. Yeah, but like I said, they won't touch it until at least 12 weeks.
1984 Tarzan.
That's right.
Yeah.
As Greystoke, The Legend of Tarzan. That wasn't a bad film.
2 children, if memory serves me correctly.
Yeah, something like that. And she was pregnant, or you have to be authorized. Munin says, wonder what gave Super 7 the idea for 35 as a Target exclusive. Ultimates are on clearance at Walmart for under 30 and still don't sell. I have no idea, but Super 7, I worry that they're spreading themselves too thin, because they're all over the place. They're all over the place.
Wow.
List, with pumping figures out every week from all kinds of different toy lines, and they get stuff at Walmart and Target and whatever. And it's like you're getting away from the core of what the company was about, I think. And that when that happens, it can get messy with these with these organizations. And Keebler said $20 increase. The cheapest plan is $44.95 a month. Wow.
Oh, I didn't mean to disappoint you. I mean,
the way I did it, it has a hard plastic, and it's like a boom, right? And it plugs into their back. So I pose them like they're stepping off of the base. So it's got 1 foot on the base and 1 foot on the ground, because you've got to move them forward to the base, or else they can't stand directly on it with the stand, and you need the stand to stabilize them.
Yeah,
that's all. You just got to work with it.
But since it's a reissue, they might have fixed the problem with the standing, because like I got it when it first came out, and that was before they started using die cast in the feet. So I mean, it's still a good figure. I still like it. But when I put my stuff down and I don't do nothing, I don't try posing, I don't do none of that. So for me, it's great. Just be careful if you that posing type of guy, then it's gonna do something else.
And Marty says they're not a 70s kid. They thought Puff the Magic Dragon meant smoking marijuana. No, actually, the irony of it is when they started using miniguns and helicopters in the Vietnam era, they used to call those guns Puff the Magic Dragon. And I just thought it was interesting.
One kind.
Yeah, I just said says Murdots there. What was my favorite Charlie Brown specials?
I think the Christmas one was the best.
Christmas is really good. The Halloween one is fun.
Yeah. When they went to summer camp, that was good. The summer camp one.
I mean, it's hard to pinpoint. Yeah, Valentine's Day one is funny.
I don't remember Valentine's.
You don't remember
I don't think so.
Day?
I remember
with the little redhead girl.
Christmas, Thanksgiving, and summer camp.
Well, I've got the whole series on disc. It's so we can watch it sometime. It's cool though. Those specials were a lot of fun. The Easter one is fun. It's hard to pinpoint. It's hard to say exactly. I love the really all of them. I'm just a big fan of the original Peanuts when Charles Schulz was still alive. And they've tried to bring it back, but I think that's another dying property. It's just another dying property. And all of those really started fading after newspapers went away, really, because most of those were related to newspaper comic strips. A lot of those characters. Garfield, everybody.
One of the guys from work, we were talking yesterday, and he's 23. And he was joking around with the manual, because every piece of equipment come with a manual, all of the parts. So he pushing it out and holding it like this. He was like, this is how old people read the newspaper. And I was like, there's no more newspaper. He was like, yeah, why isn't there no more newspaper? And I'm like, because it's, the internet took away the newspaper.
Yeah.
He was like, but why did that happen?
You didn't have to buy a paper anymore. I mean, just as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't grow up, I guess, with newspaper, because, like I said, he's only 23.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Everything Super 7 does is on clearance, and their products don't hold up. I mean, as far as value, it doesn't hold value.
Some pieces will surprise you, but most of it aftermarket, it's not that great.
I like Super 7. Go ahead.
Robert says, I like Super 7 doing various figures, but I think you're right. I think the Mars Attacks and Dungeons and Dragons figures, they've stretched themselves pretty thin, and it's hurting their quality control, because they used to be huge sticklers on the quality control, and now you're hearing a lot of complaints. Things are slipping through the cracks.
Yeah, I think they should have. Like you said, they got too many properties going at once.
Yeah.
And it's messing them up, because they're so behind getting things out. The reaction figures get out pretty quick, but the ultimate figures, it takes a long time.
Yeah.
For them to get those ultimate figures out.
Yeah, and then there's still been problems. And Gilgamesh says he saw them McFarlane spawn 2-packs in Target, and they're already on clearance. And which one is the one with the Snoopy as the Red Baron? No, he fights the Red Baron. The Red Baron is his arch enemy because he imagines he's a World War One flying ace in his soft-width
Oh yeah,
camel.
the anime.
The soft-width camel is the name of a biplane from the World War One era fighter, and that one is actually connected to the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, because so he's the one that he's pretending that he was shot down and he's behind enemy lines, and that's why he pops up out of the pumpkin patch and freaks out Linus, who thinks it's a great pumpkin, and it turns out it's only Snoopy playing World War One flying ace behind enemy lines. But
No, I forgot the book. I put it in the drawer, so I'm gonna put it here. So when we get finished, I can look them up on the various streaming apps, and whatever comes up on the streaming apps, I can watch.
Yes.
If it's not on the streaming app for free,
no,
we're not watching it.
And then
I mean, it's just
Pastor Rick said he loved Vince Guaraldi's music for piano. Yeah, that was well orchestrated. It goes together really well. I've got the album for the Charlie Brown Christmas.
What? No more quarters and newspaper arcades and phone booths.
Yeah, the newspaper machine.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's gone. The arcade machines are gone mostly, and where you do find them, it's tokens like Chuck E. Cheese or something.
Yeah.
Phone booths are gone. They did away with that because they were going to stop drug dealers by getting rid of the phone booths.
How that going to stop drug dealers when you got a cell phone?
I have no idea.
And pagers and this and that.
Who has a pager anymore?
Well, I mean, you had phone booth, you had pagers, you had cell phones. So how were you ever going to stop
the illusion? The
dealers?
Illusion was that they were using those cell phones as a home office. So the first thing they did was they eliminated the ability to receive a call in a phone booth, because you used to be able to tell people, hey, I'm waiting at the phone booth, ring me back. And you could receive a call at a phone booth if you waited there. So they did away with that first, and then they just phased out phone booths altogether.
I guess
Gilgamesh likes the one with Charlie Brown and then went to Europe. I like when Snoopy played tennis. The one where they went to, that's from one of the films, right? Where they were in Europe?
I don't remember that. I haven't seen a lot of Charlie Brown. I've seen the specials that used to come on TV.
Yeah,
but I haven't seen a lot of them. Just the main ones that came on TV, and that was about it.
And that they were classic, especially the ones that were very holiday themed. Thanksgiving, Christmas, Halloween were classic, and that's why it's so near and dear to people. And it's a shame that they tried to cancel them, and then Apple saved it, I guess, by buying the rights to the Peanuts holiday specials. But then you got to go through Apple to see them if you don't own it on disc. And pop culture and plastic. He says, huge Peanuts fan here. I got a lot of Peanuts books from the 80s and a few figures from back in the day. Peanuts was a huge part of my childhood. Yeah, for a lot of us it was. I had Peanuts bed sheets when I was a kid.
Okay. Hey, David. He's listening to us while he's driving home.
Well, that's fine. They keep you company for a while you're driving, keep you awake.
Yeah.
If you are driving, it's better to listen to talking than to listen to music.
No, it ain't.
Oh, Gilgamesh says Bon Voyage, Charlie Brown. That's my favorite of the movies.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's the one where they're going to Europe.
Oh, is it? I know. I never seen that one.
Okay. Robert says they must have lost money getting rid of phones, booths, arcades, and newspapers. Well, all that money, it went into this.
Yeah.
So
they missed too much.
That's replaced everything.
Hey, David.
Oh, Nostalgic is here. He says he read more Charlie Brown and Archie's than superheroes. I used to read a lot of those too, because I had a library down the street from me actually, and I could go there, and I used to get a lot of those, a lot of the small books, the Peanuts books that had like collections of the newspaper strips, because they were continuing storylines in the newspaper strips.
Really? I haven't seen.
They do the Halloween one a lot.
I haven't seen a lot of Simpsons
or a lot of modern. Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it. I probably can count them on two hands, all the episodes I've seen. I mean, I like it. I never disliked it, but then I
Uh-huh.
just never watched it. For some reason, my mom didn't allow us to watch The Simpsons. I don't know why. So I only ever seen like a handful of episodes, and
Yeah.
then when I was able to watch it, I didn't really care anymore. Dallas is
Yeah.
going.
Stone Sour wants to know where Dallas is at.
Yeah, Pam didn't want to marry Bobby. Well, didn't want to marry Mark,
Mark.
but then found out that Mark
Mark
is
is
about to
dying.
die.
Yeah.
So now she agreed to marry
Yeah.
him.
She got guilted into it.
Yeah. Um what's his name? I can't
Cliff
remember.
Barnes?
Not Cliff.
No.
Miss Ellie's boyfriend.
Ugh.
I can't remember his name, but anyway, his sister's in town.
Yeah, and she's like a female JR.
Yeah, she is not
She's
about
bad.
this wedding, and her and JR are gonna become real good friends, and I
I
guess
bet.
they're gonna try and destroy the wedding.
Sabotage the wedding.
Cliff Barnes just
Is an idiot.
wrote away his company because he hate JR so much. JR goaded him into, because he was second guessing and wasn't going to move forward with the purchase of the oil wells. And then JR happened to see him and the banker at the restaurant
And teased him
and teased
like
him
a
and
little
made
kid.
him feel bad. So he was like, "Oh yeah, well I'm signing off on this loan." So against the better judgment of his entire upper staff, all of his lawyers,
Yeah.
he signed a
Said it's a bad
contract
deal. Don't do it.
not detailing what collateral is.
Yeah. What collateral is.
Yeah.
He said, that's why I'm the boss
Mm-hmm.
and you're the employee. Well, thank you anyway.
Yeah.
It's
Bye.
like, yeah.
So JR set him up big time, and I'm sure he's gonna take his company.
Peter says he loves or Pete says he loves the Peanuts so much he named his dogs after two of the characters.
Oh wow, Lucy and Marcy.
They're timeless to me. It's a
Richie
shame
Rich
that they're
and his
fading
buddies.
away.
We
Richie
got-
Rich. I used to watch that show.
I
It was
never
on
seen
ABC television. It's a dumb show.
We
but,
got a lot of those comics because
Oh,
we
yeah,
had
this
got a
is
comic
whole
lot.
box full of them.
Yeah, it's like a whole short box full of Richie Rich comics. We still got to go through them
Yeah.
all. Remind me of how Peanuts would be today. Even South Park is considered old.
South Park got bad though, Robert.
Yeah.
It started off because the more I watched it, the more intolerable it became, to the point where I was like, I can't watch this anymore, because it was too hit or miss. You'd have one good episode, and then you'd have 3 or 4 that were just disgusting.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, in my opinion, anyways. And it's like, oh, it's not worth it. It wasn't to me.
Because I was watching it. I even bought like the first, I don't know, 10, 12 seasons, but I didn't watch.
It got tiring.
I think I watched probably 3 seasons, and then it got really bad. And I was just like, well,
and again, I've talked about it before. They set the bar low.
Yeah.
So, when you set the bar low, all you can keep doing is digging under. You never achieve anything that way.
But a lot of times they have good points.
Yes.
But then they discussed it so much with all of the vulgarity and everything. It's like, okay, you got a good point, but why can't you just make the point? And they show you in certain episodes that they can make the point without being vulgar.
Yeah.
And they do it. When they do that, it's funny, and you can go with it. Like the one with the Macho Man, that was funny. They had the one with Caitlyn Jenner. Yeah, Bruce Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner. That was funny. Then you get some other ones. The movie was awful.
Yeah.
I did see the movie, and the very first movie. I think they had more than one.
I don't know if they have more than one.
That was bad, and I was just like, I can't do all that. Yes, I borrowed the Peanuts.
Yeah, David used to borrow Peanuts from the library. I went to the library all the time. And Munin says, went to GameStop, bought a one-piece Rona Zorro statue with a coupon. GameStop is still around? They're hanging by a thread.
And then you know what's so weird about that? When it was last year, they had that big stock jump.
Yeah,
like a year or two ago.
That stock's right back where it started. It's like $9 or something crazy. It's way down there.
Yeah, but if you had it like 10, 12 stocks
Yeah,
when it went
I
up,
think they
oh, you would have.
blocked it at like almost 450. It was like 440, 450 or something is when the Wall Street was like stopped because it's is obviously being manipulated.
Yeah, I wish I had some at that point, then jumped out.
Yeah. In pop cultures, yeah, Peanuts, Garfield, The Phantom Heathcliff, Flash Gordon,
Yeah.
newspaper comic strips they used to read back in the day, and then I do the crosswords. Yeah, same thing because I used to deliver the newspapers. I delivered for the Boston Globe and then the Boston Herald as a kid, and I'd keep a copy and I'd read the funnies. I would do all the puzzles, crosswords, and
Hmm.
the jumble and the cryptograms and all of that stuff, and Robert says he tried to copy the 9-year-old self watching Hulk, Wonder Woman on Friday nights. Nostalgic says off topic, but picked up the Mondo John Nada. It'll
Ah,
make a good base for a custom Roddy Piper. You can pay over $250 for just a painted head sculpt alone.
yeah,
Wow,
that is true.
and that's his best film.
That
It's
was a
not a
good
not a
movie.
bad likeness. I don't blame you. I get it, and
Hmm.
nostalgic for the '70s. David there in Canada.
Hmm.
And he does a lot of custom stuff, and
Yes.
he does videos. You can find him on Facebook, you can find him on Lou's group,
My
My
Migo
Migo,
Light.
like, yeah, he does a lot of custom
And he
things like that.
shows like his different custom figures, but the one I'm really impressed about, he gets custom clothes made for the
Yeah,
figures. And that's always cool because if you got a figure, you get a character and they're not really made and they wear a very distinctive outfit. You got to go find that,
yeah,
and you can't always just get something from here and there. You got to have it custom made. So he does that. But the one thing I thought he was kind of way out there on, I can't remember the figure, but he bought a pair of pants all the way from Europe because it had the exact stripes he wanted.
hmm
And I'm like, dude, you bought a pair of pants all the way from Europe so you can have the right color and the right and the right stripes on it. I just thought that was so funny. But when because I wanted to do that with my Barnabas figure. I mean, I searched all over the internet to find the right suit and I couldn't find that suit. So then I had to reach out to somebody to make it, find the fabric and all of that. And yeah, you do some stuff to get it just the way you want. Did we read that?
no.
Okay.
Nostalgic wanted to know, do I have any Charlie Brown? You jumped to the wrong one.
Mm.
You were
Oh,
on the
oh
right
yeah,
one. You
okay,
jumped.
we did that one.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I jumped there because we were saying something.
Oh, Pete says Richie
Okay,
Rich,
yeah, yeah.
Wendy Witch,
We were
hot
right. We were right.
character.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was on the right one.
And he says Charlie Brown Peanuts toys in your collection. Yeah, I got some from Knickerbocker and from Hasbro
I
sitting
have
over there.
some the good old boy Charlie Brown. That set is the big boxes.
Yeah,
I
the
have
action
those. Yeah,
figures.
the action figures. I have about 4 different sets of those, and those are pretty nice because you get a whole play set and everything with that, and they're really cheap.
See stuff like this from Knickerbocker,
Oh,
where
let
it's
me
like
move that out the way.
see the chef, the astronaut, and it's like these little 5-inch action figures with all these accessories, and they don't go for a lot. They're really tough to find in the boxes, but they're not like super valuable at all. And I have the complete set of 3. They were made in the '80s by Knickerbocker, and then they also, I'll show you the other one since I'm up. See, there's the Sport with the original Hills Department Store price sticker of like $4.78 there, and that's all it is. But yeah, they're not that expensive. And then, of course, Knickerbocker also did the Snoopy and Belle, which are like these 10-inch, almost kind of dolls. You've probably seen these before by Knickerbocker.
Mm-hmm.
And they also sold carded outfits,
Mm.
which are pictured on the back. There's
You
a
don't
ton of them
have
for
any
Bell.
outfits.
No, I don't have any of the carded outfits, but you know they got them all pictured back there. There's a ton of them they made, and they also have a carrying case shaped like a closet that you can hang the outfits in. What's weird about it though is, of course, Belle is his sister, not a girlfriend or anything.
Oh, okay.
Stuff like that, and I've got the Snoopy copter I've talked about before. This one. It's the early 70s Hasbro Romper Room Edition Snoopy Copter pull toy, but this one's factory sealed. And again, you know, you'll never find another one sealed, but it's not worth a fortune. There's not a lot of people looking for this, you know. But I just thought this was really neat. Sort of a childhood memory there.
Yeah.
Stuff that you remember seeing when you were a kid. I never had one, but, you know.
K Munin says that he noticed something at GameStop. They have graded cards in the store, but you can only buy the cards online, and you can either pick them up in the store or have them shipped. So it's like, why you got them in the store if you're not going to sell it?
So that a sale can be verified. Oh, Reston's
guess.
last stand is there because they don't trust their employees.
No. My mom has a small collection of figures. The only things in it are Charlie Brown, Little Lulu, and Archie related stuff.
Hey,
Yes, I bought a pair of pants from England. Some material on my Canon Oscar Goldman
Oscar
suit.
Goldman.
Yeah, I know it was something because I remember that story, and I'm sitting there. That was before I got my custom Barnabas. I'm like, man, that guy crazy. But then I got mine, and I was like, okay, yeah, I understand now.
Yeah.
Because you got to jump through a lot of hoops if you want it to look as close to accurate as possible.
And Munin says that now that I show the Snoopy toys, it's not a brand you really see anymore. Yeah, or,
No.
or Peanuts in general. And the one thing that I did want to get, which is from the 60s, is the pocket dolls. Because they made a set of Peanuts, and they're called pocket dolls, even though they're plastic with vinyl heads, and they're jointed. They got 5 points of articulation with removable clothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's about so big. And they came in a cello bag. They came in a hang bag, same as the Dakin figures. And I used to have a set of them. I don't anymore. But they're not very expensive. But they are tough to find complete. They can be very tough to find those complete. Pop Culture says they're a huge Mad Max collector. There's a lot of third-party and custom work available, and it's very expensive, but no one's making 12-inch merchandise at the moment. Until they do.
Did they make any for Mad Max?
I'm not
Hey, Graphic
sure.
Man, how are you?
I'm not sure, actually.
And Tuck is here. He's
Yep, Tuck.
shopping or stopping
by
to say hi. Thank you for stopping by. We appreciate
Absolutely.
it. And David had that snowman
the
Snoopy
Snoopy
snow cone machine.
That's the two things they used to advertise the most, and those were both Hasbro toys. The Snoopy snow cone maker and Brush a toothbrush. Snoopy brush a toothbrush just before you go to bed. You remember?
No,
you don't remember that?
No.
Because they made a lot of electric toothbrushes, actually.
Legends is present.
Legends is here.
Yes.
Robert says Snoopy Copter looks like Romper Room made it. Was looking at the top right low. Yeah, well, during that period in the early 70s, from like 70 to about 73 or 74, the Hasbro label, when it was a toy that was meant for a younger person, had the Romper Room approved stamp on it, and that's why that's there.
Okay.
And Murdoch says that's awesome to have in the actual box. I was happy to find it, and I couldn't believe how cheap it was either. It's like, but again, like I said, even though you may not find another one sealed, there's not a huge demand, and it's something I brought up plenty of times that rare doesn't necessarily mean valuable. It's not. But I've got a lot of stuff that's not the big sexy stuff, but it is really nostalgic, and some of it's pretty tough to come by. It's like even the thing like that, and it throws you. People see it, and it's like, oh my god, because sometimes they remember it, like when Pixel Dan was here, and it was the bad case of worms.
Yeah.
Remember, because I've got the whole box full. I got a case of them sitting here, the bad case of worms. And I've shown these before. And when he was filming, he came to this and he was like, "What is this? This looks really familiar," because it sparked a memory for him. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. It's like, wow, I think I remember. I think I had this, because it's just a rack toy from Mattel. That's all it is. It's just a rack toy. I just happen to have a whole box full of them.
Yeah.
So I gave him one.
Gilgamesh had that Snoopy electric
Yeah.
toothbrush set that his parents bought for him when he was young.
Yeah, they made a bunch of us of those toothbrush sets. I think the most famous one. Well, no, Mattel used to make them too.
Oh, did they?
And the one that everybody wants is the He-Man and Skeletor one.
Oh,
or
okay.
He-Man. But they did a lot of that kind of stuff in those days. You guys,
They don't do
remember.
nothing no more.
They don't do that kind of stuff anymore. That's true. The Batman and Robin toothbrush set.
I was surprised that Walmart has that Universal Monster cereal little set with the bowl. We showed it on the roundup. You get the box of cereal.
That's a throwback.
In the ceramic bowl. I thought that was cool. I actually went to Walmart. I didn't realize you got to get it online.
Yeah, only online.
Yeah, but I went there looking for it. And I was like, man, if I see one, I'll just pick it up just to have as a display item, not to really eat or use, because I don't eat that type of cereal. But David's not missing no ground.
But I know they've been Stone Sour was trying to jump something off to get me to put it on. It's sitting back there, but she's giving me a hard time. Robert says, do you watch any detective couple shows like Moonlighting or Remington Steele? I never really got into that.
I used to watch Moonlighting when it was on. I don't remember watching Remington Steele, but they had Hunter with Dee Dee McCall and Hunter, Cagney and Lacey.
He means the ones where they're couples, though, where there's like a sexual dynamic. I always hated those because they was all that fake sexual tension between them that nobody gave a damn about.
Yeah, just do your job.
James says he bought a pair of handmade 7-inch figures of Uncle Creepy and Cousin Eerie from the 60s Warren magazines. They have cloth suits and handmade cards, but they're very expensive.
Whoa. You know what I want? I want a 6-scale Columbo. And I don't think anybody ever did I don't think anybody ever did Columbo.
The only one
not even Mego.
The only time Columbo's ever been done, and I forget who it was, but it was a die-cast car with a little figure.
Yeah.
One of those kind of deals. And Nostalgic says,
they
saw Super 7 making 20-inch Peanuts characters. Yeah, but $300 almost.
I have to pass on
They're
them.
like quarter scale,
yeah,
or half scale, something like that. And they also did the cat from Richard Scarry.
That was cute.
I know. I would love to have that, but I can't pay that.
No,
it's too much.
I bought the Richard Scarry reaction figures. I got those, but yeah, those big ones, they look cool, but whoa, that price!
Wow, I know it. Yeah, Stone Sour remembers that because he saw Pixel Dan's video. David gave me a bad case of worms, Pixel Dan. Yeah, because he said that.
Yeah, that is true. Pop culture. The current trends mean top dollar. When the spotlight is on a brand, the demand goes up, and people are reminded of their childhood. Yeah, and then you can't find it because you have some toys that you were watching and they were pretty cheap, and then a movie comes out, somebody else do it, and now those figures are really expensive. I haven't looked at the Beetlejuice, but when I was getting Beetlejuice months ago, they were at a decent
pretty
price.
Cheap, yeah.
But I haven't checked it since the new movie's about to come out, what the prices are, but it'll throw you. I'm surprised they haven't redid those toys.
Yeah.
Somebody about
it'll happen.
Yeah.
Because they're already doing the 6 scale, right? Yeah. The 6 scale was out by Sideshow. And Robert says, I wish I could have seen the collaboration with Justice Curry. He was at work.
It's still up on
it's up
on YouTube.
You can find it.
Go back and watch
it. That's the only time slot he had available.
Mm-hmm.
And first and last, he says, I can't stop buying cheap autographs of comic book artists on eBay. Really?
Addiction.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know those addictions, I mean, especially with well, anything, records, toys, comic books, whatever you collect. It doesn't have to be toys and stuff, but you get into it, man. You can't pass nothing by.
Yeah.
You see, like, oh man, I gotta have that.
It's
And
just
then the next thing you know,
that's the thing that Justice said that stuck in my mind also was that he was like, you don't know how many times, because he sells.
mm-hmm.
I get people and they message me, hey, Justice, don't send it to my home address, okay? Here, I'll give you my work address. And he's like, oh, here we go. Because, it's like, they don't
Yeah.
want their spouse to know what they're spending.
Or people ship stuff to work at the work address. You're like, why
If
is this
if you
stuff
got to
coming
do it on
here?
the slide, either you're doing too much
Yeah.
or you're with someone who doesn't appreciate your hobby.
Yeah.
And that's a whole different topic right
I
there.
know.
Yeah.
That's something we said we were gonna discuss.
Yeah,
Have a
when people
discussion about.
want to like kibosh your hobby, can't you just let the person be happy if they're not hurting anybody?
No, because you always got that one person that's gonna rain on your
Oh, I'm
parade.
gonna fix him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what it makes me think of is the 40-year-old version.
I never saw the
Yeah,
40
that
year old
movie. That
version.
guy, he was a vintage toy collector,
Mm.
and he had like sealed. He never opened anything,
Mm-hmm.
and the she got him to sell his collection in her eBay store,
So
that
she got all the money.
no, so that he could open up his own electronics store because that's something he wanted to do. But I'm sitting there thinking, this woman's a supervillain. She got him to give up she got him to give up his hobby. Like, you evil witch. I was so mad. To me, she looked like the woman from the Titanic movie, where she's
Mm.
floating there. Oh, there's no room. I'm so sorry, and he's drowning.
Rustin saw a lot of new Simpsons toys at
Really,
Walmart and Target this week.
Marvel
And
fan is
Marvel
here.
fan is
He's the
here.
#1 Marvel fan.
Yes.
Legends. I almost ordered a Tales from the Crypt nightlight, then
Oh.
realized old electronic wiring probably not the best. No, it's not that old stuff. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I like this one. This is, I showed this earlier because I just picked this up at a yard sale, and it's an old blow mold lantern with the old wiring. Even the I've had really old, like I had an antique one I sold actually just recently that had the cloth wiring, where it's like cloth fiber wrapped around the copper. And I plugged it in and tested it and worked on it here, and see, this works. Remember that when the old plug-in stuff used to be a problem, there was no fuse, there was no switches in the fuse box.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you would get shorts and electrical fires. So as long as that it's still contained, the wire is not compromised, it should be fine.
Yeah, you can't wrap it up with duct tape or scotch tape.
No, actually, you can wrap it with electrical tape if it's exposed. But yeah, it's not as much of a risk. Basically, it's not as much of a risk as it used to be. And Nerd says, do you guys have any famous monsters of Filmland and love Columbo, by the way? Yeah, we do. I've got the special edition box sets of the original, like Wolfman, like all the Wolfman films, the Frankensteins and stuff like that. Creature from the Black Lagoon sets.
Mm-hmm.
Robert says, are you going to see Beetlejuice sequel? I don't know.
No, not unless it comes on Amazon Prime or some free streaming app.
She never saw the first one.
No.
So we still got to do that. But
I seen the cartoon, because I used to watch the cartoon
which
when
is
I was
nothing
growing
like
up.
the movie. Nothing.
I love the cartoon, and we just recently rewatched the cartoon. Yeah,
and
I'm
in
good
the
with
cartoon, they're friends, but of course, in the movie, he was a villain.
Oh, okay.
So, and Pop Culture says, yeah, Beetlejuice Funko Pops out. Yeah, that's
Yay! Right. I got the Funko Pops of Beetlejuice. Like when they first came out and all of that. I got those.
Legend said King of the Hill action figures are expensive on eBay.
I didn't know they did figures for King of the Hill. I love King of the Hill.
It was a very short run. That's why they're expensive. And Robert says, I haven't bought anything, but I bought the Tommy Refit Enterprise. Oh yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Ooh.
$700. Yeah, you need to
Lay
keep your
low.
wallet closed for a while.
Biker mice from Mars.
Oh yeah,
figure.
those dropped into Walmart too. The nacelles, Gilgamesh says. They aren't
Yeah.
that impressive in person. It was a letdown.
Ooh.
And
Hello,
hello,
Treehouse.
Treehouse is here. Great owl. Yeah, the owl is fantastic. And I found that at a yard sale today for next to nothing. And I also picked these up. And they're retrofitted for a light to go in, but they don't have a light.
Mhm.
But I figured I would just grab this pair, blow mold, obviously from like the 80s, like the owl, and they do stand on their own. And, any kind of, and I called it kitschy because I think that's the term for it.
That don't
Any
go in the
kinda-
kitchen though.
No, but that's what they call it. Look, they can hold hands. They call it kitschy when it's like that old kind of retro, like goofy style or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, she wanted hardly anything for this stuff, and I was like, wow, that's great. She had a blow mold ghost, a tall one that was like 3 foot.
Mm-hmm.
That she wanted a ton for, and I was like, no, I'm not going to get that. If she came down a little, maybe, but I was going to pay a ton for any of that stuff. But then she wanted like next to nothing for these things, and the owl apparently is actually pretty expensive. A
Yeah.
lot of that blow mold stuff is going up in value. The old
People want that
yard.
stuff.
Well, they remember it.
Yeah.
They remember it from their childhood. It's like, if they didn't have it, they remember seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it just sparks that memory for you, and you're like, wow, yeah, why not, right? Why not? Robert says, what's your most expensive thing you bought and the least expensive? Oh, I don't know.
One of those statues back there is expensive.
For her, yeah,
Yeah.
Any of the Queen Studios or Prime One Studios.
Yeah, statues.
Statues
Expensive.
are expensive. Least expensive, I wouldn't even know where to.
I know I got a Night Stalker from Goodwill for 99 cents once.
Uh-huh.
That was cheap.
Yeah. And you find real good deals on occasion.
Yeah.
On occasion. Pop culture, my wife doesn't understand my hobby, but she doesn't want to. It's my hobby and she's good with it.
Now that's fine.
And that's fine. She sees me happy. I never question her clothes purchases or makeup, etc. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, if they don't have to understand, the only thing they need to understand is it makes you happy and it's not hurting anything. Yeah, and that's fine. But some people can't let you have that, and they think they're going to crush it. And Blue Splash says they're looking for a new place to live, going to sell the house and head north, close to Georgia, so I can see Toy ATL and Joe. Oh,
Toy
Lanta and Joe Lanta. Those are two of the biggest shows, and especially now. The Joe Fest, one of the biggest in the country, next to not as big as Kane County. Kane County's insane, but it's one of the biggest general shows in the country. And the Toy Lanta and Joe Lanta are fixed to be that big now that they're at the Gas South.
Mm-hmm.
It's twice the size of the original venue at least. So it's getting bigger and bigger. And what? Go ahead.
No, I was just about to say I want to see that Columbo figure because head sculpt because I do want a 1/6 scale Columbo. His clothes probably wouldn't be that hard to get, but somebody, I think Jada did his car, so you can get the die cast car and put it with him. But I mean, it wouldn't be a 1/6 scale car,
No.
so it wouldn't be to scale. But yeah, I can't wait to see that. I want to see that.
Get Smart missed it by that much.
I never saw Get Smart.
I remember watching it when I was a kid in reruns.
Siegfried?
I
never saw Agent 99.
From the show. Agent 99 is the girl.
Okay, I've never seen
and Siegfried. Siegfried was the chief, right?
Okay.
He'll probably know better than me.
Yeah.
Gilgamesh said old wiring isn't that bad and things like that and can be replaced easily most of the time. That granddad had an old Lionel train set that they redid, and a lot of the wiring for it made it work again. Yeah. Pop Culture said worms and owls. I'm feeling an animal theme. Yeah. I love that kind of stuff though. And Hello Tree saw Beetlejuice today. They enjoyed it darker than the original, but maintains the character well. Okay,
Okay,
and
that's cool.
that's important. I heard that his presence in the Flash movie held it together too. A lot of people, I think, just went to go to see the Flash movie just to see Keaton. And the big joke about that is that hell, all we had to do was bring Keaton back as Batman all along. We've
Hmm.
been doing all these like DC films for the last 15 years or whatever and getting it wrong. We just needed 89 Batman again.
Yeah, because
Pretty
that's all
much.
people wanted to see. But then got kind of fanciful with the Catwoman and all of that. That's why I like Patson's Batman. It's not fanciful. It was just kind of
Well, they're trying to make
realistic.
it more realistic. Yeah.
Yeah, and to me that's what I like. That's why I get nervous when they start talking about these different characters they're going to bring in. Like one time, and I don't know how true it is, they floated around the rumor floated around that they would bring in Clayface. And I'm like, oh, but then I was watching Batman Cape Crusader, the cartoon,
Yeah.
and they brought in that Clayface.
Yeah.
Now that one would work.
Because all he could do was like make his skin malleable to look like someone
Yeah,
else. It wasn't like he was a blob.
like on the animated
Yeah.
series, he was a blob.
Yeah.
And then I looked it up to see where that one came from, and then I guess it was a bunch of incarnations of Clayface, and that guy that was in Cape Crusader was one of them.
Yeah.
So he wasn't this big blob like you saw in the animated series. He
Because they'd
was
have
like
to
this
make
guy.
it more realistic somehow.
Right. So, if they do something like that, like I said, I kind of hope they do the Court of Owls. That was pretty
Yeah.
good. Something realistic, nothing fanciful and all weird. Cause then you're like, I don't need all that. They floated around Mr. Freeze a couple times. I don't know where that's gonna go. But I do like that they keep things a secret so that people won't go crazy and make a million videos before it even comes out.
Yeah. Well, you know how it is.
Yeah, because sometimes you see these videos and they start playing them like a year prior and they talk about them every day. And I'm thinking, oh, the movie's already out and it's not even out yet. And it's like, how you did 20 videos based on this movie and it ain't even out yet.
Previews. Because you just know it's gonna suck.
Yeah, you
That's what it
do.
is.
And that's what's like, that's why I kind of get nervous about a lot of these movies. Well, I don't care about two.
Uh-huh.
I get kind of nervous.
I just like how they did try to keep it somewhat realistic, and they did
Yeah.
things like when he jumped off the roof,
Hmm.
he hesitated.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, wait a minute, is this going to work?"
Yeah.
And then when he landed, he didn't quite stick the landing, and he got hurt, and you
Yeah.
could tell he was hurt.
Hmm.
So, and I thought, okay, I can see that. I can
Yeah.
see that happening, and I
Yeah.
do know that those glider suits are a thing, and they do work.
Hmm.
But yeah, he messed it up. He'd never done it before.
Yeah. And then the detective aspect, you got a story going on. I never really got. I mean, I've seen 89 Batman, I know a million times because we had the VCR tape growing up and we watched it over and over and over and over again. I know what it was about, but it still felt like something I ain't getting. I don't really know what Christian Bale ones were about. I know the one with Bane. I
Yes,
remember that, but I don't really know what it's about. But
you saw the one with the Joker.
yeah, I saw that one too. I say I saw all of the Christian Bales.
You didn't see the first one with Liam Neeson.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, I saw some of the Christian Bales, but still, I don't know.
Okay,
I just like Patson's Batman. I
okay,
guess that's the
that's
point of the
fine.
story.
That's fine.
Okay.
Munin is surprised that blow molds are getting more expensive. They never really that nostalgic for it. Yeah, they're starting to creep up.
But he not that old either to probably remember and
Remember it
see
that
him and
well.
have him.
And
By the time he got old enough, they were phasing
they've
out.
done away with that. Now they got those inflatables now.
Oh God! Now that needs to die. Because you got some
You
people that
don't
just
need
go
a
crazy.
30-foot tall what Santa Claus on your lawn.
Well, it's not that you got a 30-foot. You got 8 and 10 of them. You got a lot.
Yeah, well,
Halloween, you could buy a lot of cool stuff. They always have the good stuff around
around
Halloween,
Halloween.
I
And
guess.
Reston says, hang on to the holiday decorations and reuse them each year. Yeah, then you end up with closets full of decorations.
Yeah. Yeah, the deco companies
Hmm.
are depending on you to throw them away.
Yeah. And Fumbling Through the Galaxy is here.
Hey, how
Glad you
you
could make it.
doing?
It says, Muna says, the shows around you seem so awesome. I said it again and again, but there's nothing like that around me. Yeah, well, yeah. It depends on where you are. And Pop Culture says, I thought Johnny Lightning did the Columbo car. I could be wrong. Maybe it might have been.
It
It was
might have
it
been,
was about 1/24th scale
yeah,
with a little
somebody
figure.
did it. I'm not sure who. It could have been them.
Yeah, maybe.
Um, but I know I have seen it, and I, told myself I was gonna get it and just never did. Great opening to that show.
Hello Tree says the
Hmm.
Get Smart that was. And I don't remember what kind of car Columbo had, Robert, except that it was a pile of junk.
Yeah, yeah, it was.
It
I
was a
don't know what
mess.
kind it was either. I want to say some type of foreign car, like a Fiat or something. I don't know. He thought it was the best thing ever. Worked for Chaos and
Chaos
Chaos.
and the Chief were control. Yeah, I don't remember it that well. I remember I watched it when I was a kid in reruns, but I haven't seen it since. And Robert says Patson is just copying the Christian Bale's Batman.
No, I don't know about that.
Pop Culture says they saw The Flash with their daughter when '89 Batman came on. I did a happy dance. He made that film. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like that's all they had to do all this time. And Raccoon says the Clayface on the Harley Quinn HBO cartoon is a goofball. They made him a total ham with that I'm speaking Shakespeare voice. So
Oh.
dumb. Well, yeah, I've heard that show's not very good, anyways. But
I think they canceled
I
it
haven't seen
already.
it. I haven't seen it. And Blue Splash, with a lot of things changing in my life,
Hmm.
I'm not collecting much right now. Want to focus on a new place.
Yeah, I
Well,
understand that because I keep on trying to say that, but then the addiction come along and sweep me on my feet.
yeah, that's right.
No, but I tried to step back a couple times.
Yeah.
Then something will come out because David do that during roundup. That's what messes me up.
Oh, First and Last said they should have Linda Carter make a cameo. She's still around. Linda Carter could pull it off.
In what?
Batman. I don't know,
Which
somewhere.
Batman? Not Patson Batman.
No,
Oh, okay.
I don't know, because of the Linda Carter Wonder Woman, pretty goofy.
Yeah, we
It's
watching that.
it's not as much, but in line with the concept of the '66 Batman with Adam West, where everybody's acting super serious, but the premise is really kind of ridiculous. On a lot of the things that they do, you're watching it, and you're like, oh my god,
Yeah.
how they they have to know they look ridiculous, and they're just trying to make it seem serious.
Yeah, I'm with you. Now, if they can do it where they're not doofy, they're not goofy, and it's a psychodrama,
Gilgamesh talking about Scarecrow
yeah.
and the Mad Hatter.
Because that's kind of what they did with a Riddler. It was like a psychodrama.
Hmm.
Um, I can do that. Anybody a work as long as it's not fanciful, like comic bookish, you know, it'll work for me. It will. Some is those types of things have its place, and that's fine if that's what you want to watch. I don't got past that now. I don't want to. I don't want to see that. We're watching 66 Batman, and it's fine
Yeah.
because that's what it was intended to be.
Yes.
But then when you make a movie with the intentions of being this, but then it comes off as something totally different, then you're like, I thought you said I was going to get something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a lot of the movies they come out with now, they bill it as being something great and awesome, and then you finally go watch it and it's some garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay, yeah. So we
oh
read that
yeah.
one. Mm-hmm.
Legends talking about after Halloween prices go down, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And Robert, yes, Columbo had a dog. He had
And the dog name was Dog.
yeah, it was a basset hound, just like or bloodhound, excuse me, just like Roscoe's dog. And Munin wants to know vintage toy comic record CD shows you go to, which is the best one or the favorite. Um, I mean, the Joe Fest, Joe Lanta, and Toy Lanta are pretty decent shows. The
Oh, okay.
Atlanta CD and record show is pretty good.
Yeah, that's the only music or
that we go to
one we go to
currently.
but
Yeah,
it's good.
But the one that I've had the most luck at has been the retro toy swap. I've found the best and the more frequent deals at the retro toy swap than anywhere else.
Yeah,
because it's again, the retro attracts people that are not dealers.
Mm-hmm.
So people, because it's only, I think, what, $20 to get a table at
Yeah.
the retro, instead of paying like God knows how much at some of these other shows. It can get real expensive. You could end up spending hundreds on a table depending upon what show you're at. But people know, I got a bunch of extra stuff. I can go to the retro and spend $20 and get a spot and get rid of all of this stuff. And so they don't have as much overhead. They can give you a better price. And I found some amazing deals because, you know, if I buy something, I don't typically talk about prices. But yeah, the retro, the most frequent and the better deals have been coming from Retro Toy Swap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
the comic one, I guess the Atlanta Comic Convention is the best comic
small
book
show, but there's
Yeah.
a lot of variety there for a small show.
Yeah.
It's popular.
And the one thing I like about that one, you don't have a lot of artist alley. Like we went to another one in Macon
Oh,
that
yeah.
they used to be in a hotel, and when they were in the hotel, it was all comic books.
Yes.
And they might have had one artist alley vendor, and that was it. But then they went to a bigger location, and now you got the guy with his seasoning. You got this other person.
When she says artist alley, she's also incorporating people who do arts and crafts.
Yeah. You had the guy, he had seasoning, really hot sauce, rib seasoning. Somebody else had a bunch of leather items like vests and whips and all kinds of stuff like that. Somebody else had some wood carvings, and it was a lot of that. And
people were making like wreaths for sports teams.
And they had the bottle openers with different characters on it, but it was more of that than the comic books. And then it made it like, what are we doing to see?
And you don't see a lot of that in our filming because, you know, experience, because I do read all the comments, has taught me that most people don't want to see it in the video.
Yeah.
They don't really want to see that.
They don't want to see it when it goes. So they don't.
If it's a toy show, they want to see the toys. If it's a comic show, they want to see the comics. They want to get a feel for it. They don't want to see all of that. So I kind of, we try to glaze over it.
Yeah.
Munin said, to be fair, Harley Quinn has been overdone and outstayed. Yeah, I can totally agree with that. Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, really any of the DC females have been beaten to death at this point, as has the Joker. Sick of seeing the Joker and things. They've really, really worn it out. It's like they don't have anything else, and they've got so much good material from decades of comic writing that they could pull something from, and they just don't.
Oh, good. I'm glad that the dog is finally starting to settle in. A retired show and breeding dog.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Legends got the dog.
That.
3 weeks with the new dog.
Finally playing with the toys.
Learning how to
be a dog.
A dog again. Yeah, and you see that also, like her brother came across a dog that was a former kennel dog. You know, a breeder. Yeah, that dog that he brought with him when he visited your mother, and he said that it was it's from a
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't hear that story.
That's what he was telling me.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear
that.
That
dog was a from a breeding farm.
Oh,
so it spent its whole life being pregnant in a cage, and pregnant, so that they could mill out puppy milk. Mill out
puppies.
Yeah. And so it's like the dog is like a statue. It's just this timid thing, and it just sits and it looks, and it doesn't know what to do.
It doesn't move because it's not used to moving
Yeah.
and getting around.
Yeah, so it's got to learn.
Golly.
It's got to learn
That's
how
why
to
that
interact.
dog like that.
Yeah, it's got to learn how to interact again, and it's good to hear.
Mm.
Gilgamesh says, if you don't know if you remember the gold-plated Pokemon cards, Burger King did. Yes, I do. And it came inside of a little ball, and it was like a prize that you could buy, or you could purchase it separately, I think, for $2, right? And it had the gold-plated card inside the ball when you opened it
Oh,
up.
he got the whole set
He
now.
said he got the whole set
With their poke balls.
on eBay.
Mm.
I've got the whole set of 6 in the Pokeballs. That's cool.
Yeah. Roscoe's dog name was Flash, and the
Yeah.
darn dog never walked because
No.
Roscoe carried it around all the
Yeah.
time.
Female.
Yeah, old big fat dog.
And Nostalgic says, I don't like the seriousness of superhero movies these days. Common, these guys are running around in their underwear and have ridiculous powers. I'd rather have the campy vibe of the 66 Batman.
Yeah.
It's
That
fun. It's
show
goofy,
is-
but it's fun.
The last one we saw was with Regis Meredith.
First Penguin appearance.
Yeah. Oh God, he was so silly in that.
They wanted to do the parts. I read somewhere that Adam West, he barely got through the first couple of pages of it. And he was like, oh, God, I got to do this. This is hilarious. And Regis Meredith, with the laughing, he had quit smoking years earlier. So the cigarette smoke was bothering him. So that wah, 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 that he did for the laugh was a way for him to clear his throat while filming, because the cigarette smoke was bothering him. Just the weird stuff anyways that they did on that show. Robert says, why can't all of them be like Retro Toy Swap? Most shows were like that. Nowadays, it's nowhere.
Mm-mm.
And Uncarded says, look at all the Godzillas. Yeah, there's been a lot of Godzilla incarnations.
He's talking about the ones behind you.
Oh, is that what you're talking about? The ones behind me? Well, those are all 3 versions of the U.S. release of the Mattel Shogun Warrior Godzillas.
Oh, okay. Wants me to get her spay. She did love the dog. However, owning over 25 dogs, she had to let some go.
Okay.
Okay.
And then Reston says eBay has 1/18th figure Columbo and dog.
Oh, really?
Peter Falk painted 148 from overseas. There's a Peter Falk signature. Interesting.
Oh, that's cool.
Interesting. And I've got the Imperial and the Dormai Godzillas too. There's the Dormai Godzilla right there, and then the Imperial ones are behind me. I've got both versions, the tall and the short one. See.
Yeah.
See, that's the Imperial Godzilla from the 80s.
Yeah, I agree with that, K Munin. I mean, because there are a lot of characters, DC, Marvel, and some other companies. They got a lot of characters that has never been touched before. Like, I don't think a Brother Voodoo ever came out.
That's Marvel.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
Yeah.
I said DC, Marvel.
Oh, okay, I missed that.
They all got characters that's never been talked about.
You want a good Batman villain? How about the KG Beast? How about
Well, he talking about
how about the ventriloquist?
Quit, give those characters a break. Do something with somebody else. Just just relax them for a while. Let people let people miss them, because right now people kind of tired of what's that guy name? Captain America and Falcon and Batman and all of those things. And now they're coming out with another Superman, and people are already up in arms. You're not even out yet.
Yeah, they're already frustrated with it. They don't even like his costume.
Mm-mm.
And Gilgamesh wants to know what's the tallest figures. Probably action figure wise, probably the Shogun Jumbo Machinders. The tallest one, the Ray Dean right here, is probably right at 24 inches. The rest of them are like 22 and a half, 23 inches tall. And Robert says, if you could, would you get the Shogun Japanese versions? Of course. Well, the Popies, yeah. If I could get them, I would. But they
cost too much.
There's very few that have survived. So they can get quite expensive. And Uncarded vaguely remembers Shogun Warriors. It's a popular toy line.
I guess what I'm trying to say is I prefer lighter subject matter
Uh-huh.
when it comes to entertainment. Don't like the over serious and darker themes today. Just want to have fun
Says
without developing PTSD.
says David.
Yeah, I understand that.
Sure.
But I know for me, and it's just for me, when I read books, comic books, watch movies, I like the darker ones. And then it's at times I like the lighter side.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I want that, but again, don't just put something out and say, this is what you got and you better like it. Like what they're doing nowadays.
Yeah.
That's what annoys
Or
me.
else there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, you're a problem.
Yeah, and there's a lot of that going around from a lot of these properties, especially things that are being produced by Disney.
Yeah.
And you've
Even
got
in the video game, we were watching one of the channels we like to watch, and he was talking about video games and all of the
yeah,
stuff that's in that, and it's like, why do you need that in a video game? I thought
you
you're supposed
don't,
to
and
just
it's
play the
killing the
game.
market. It's killing their market. They're hemorrhaging money, and for some reason they just won't stop. Fumbling says with the economics of movies now, it's almost impossible to go with an unproven commodity. However, James Gunn is going to bring lesser known characters to film for
That's
DC.
good. Hopefully he does right by him, and it's not like
Mm-hmm.
so far removed from what they were in the comic book.
Gilgamesh talking about Creature Commandos. That's going to be animated though.
I hope so.
I don't. Yeah, I think they want to do that animated. I don't think they trust doing that as a live action.
Yeah, that's gonna come out all wrong.
Some things don't translate well going from comic book to live action. It just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, but sometimes it does well going to animation because you can do stuff in animation that just works, but
Yeah.
it won't work in a live action
Yeah.
setting. I have the full run of Columbo on DVD in a presentation cigar box.
Oh,
Also, so many actors either go their first break
got
or
their first
got
break.
their first break. We're on. Yeah, they were.
Yeah, it was busy. Nerd is saying there. Yeah, you had Leonard Nimoy was in there. Robert Culp was in 2 episodes. Um, as 2 different characters. There was a lot of faces that you would recognize on Columbo, but that was a thing back in the 70s.
Yeah.
Where people, 60s and 70s, people would guest star all over the place to get to circulate themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Or to add credibility. And you saw that in Batman 66. That's what the whole famous windows scene is, whenever they would be climbing the rope and then somebody would pop out of the window and it would be someone famous who just wanted to be on the show for a spot, so they got their minute on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, look, it's Sammy Davis Jr. Oh, look, it's Jerry Lewis or whoever would pop in for a moment. But yeah, being a guest appearance here, there, and everywhere was a thing back then.
I got tired of Columbo because after a while it's like, okay, you can't figure out everything.
He knew the moment he walked in that room.
And I mean, then you trick the person every time and they always fall for it.
All they have to do is shut up.
Yeah. And
don't
after a
tell
while
him anything.
it just got kind of, it just needed a break. I don't know what that means.
Jack Fearless is here. He's just saying hi.
Oh, saying hi.
Robert says it depends on the comic character. Superman is supposed to show hope. Flash is supposed to be a happy character. Batman can go dark or happy.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder Woman's supposed to be hopeful. Wonder Woman is overpowered now. They've way overdone it with the Wonder Woman
she can
versus.
Fly now.
Yeah, she can do all kinds of stuff. She's like, even when they shoehorned her into the animated version of Red Sun, they made her more powerful than Superman. And she wasn't even in the original story. It's like she wasn't in the story. If you read it, she wasn't there. I don't think so, right? And then, but they put her in there, and then she's tougher than him. I mean, come on, you just did that to do that. But they're constantly overpowering characters, like the Harley Quinn with Thomas Wayne, and she's so fast he couldn't even shoot her. It just doesn't make sense. Gilgamesh said Creature Commando is going to be animated, but they also state they want to introduce those characters into the live action movies as they build the new universe. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And
the Jumbo Machinder.
yeah, he was saying that because Bandai has an anniversary edition
Yeah.
of the one that looks like this, because theirs is the Popey version, so it's going to have all four fists, and it wasn't a bad price for
I
for
remember
what
you
it was.
saying that.
Yeah, I thought it looked pretty interesting. And Reston said Heard Gunn is bringing Josh Brolin as Green Lantern and a young Jon Stewart to TV. Yeah, they people weren't very happy
TV.
with the Green Lantern film when it came out.
David, you're right. Breaking Bad taught us
to lawyer
to
up.
lawyer up. I didn't finish Breaking Bad because the wives got on my nerves.
Yeah, she didn't like the wives.
They were too much,
Yeah.
and I couldn't deal with it anymore. So I had to leave the show.
And it gets worse.
Oh God, I thought it would go away. You said they were going to go away.
Well, they do for a time, but then there's other issues that come up. So I mean, Breaking Bad was okay. I have seen the whole series. She has not.
No, because them wives got on my nerve. I couldn't do it no more. They needed to go away.
And Robert likes the episode of Columbo with Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah.
And Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash
good.
was good, and the wine guy. And
the wine guy was good.
Who was that? That was
Donald Pleasance.
Yes, Donald Pleasance, correct.
And Roddy McDowell one was good.
Roddy McDowell was good. Well, Roddy McDowell was a good actor.
But you know the thing that got on my nerves with I don't know who was in it, but it was the one episode where Columbo thought the guy had buried the body. They were building a new building. He thought that they buried the guy under the building.
The piling, yeah.
So he had them tear it all down, and the body wasn't there. The guy didn't bury it. But after that, then he buried the body. And it's like, can you really have a building torn down to look for a body? Can that really happen?
Well, he had the pilings demolished. They hadn't actually started the building.
Yeah, but yet. I mean, still. But it just felt like it was a bit much.
I don't know. They must really trust Columbo. And
yeah.
Nostalgic City's tired of seeing 140-pound woman manhandling 200-plus pound men. 140 pounds, you're giving them a lot of credit.
A lot of weight.
I'm looking at them and they look like they weigh 85, 90 pounds, a lot of them. They're so tiny.
I'm honestly tired of seeing movies and TV shows with women in it. I'm telling the truth. I am, because they're just too much. And we talked about this before. I'm not going to go back down that road, but I don't want to see one more movie. I won't watch a movie that's woman-led. If I look at that thumbnail and there's a woman in the foreground, I ain't watching it. Or if it said in the description, she did this, or this guy and a 10-year-old girl, I'm not watching it.
Yeah.
I don't even want. And it might be a great, phenomenal movie on par with Citizen Kane. I don't want to.
I don't know about that.
I know, but still.
The one that I hate now is when they roll out the SEAL team and 4 of them are women, or it's the female fighter pilots, and it's like, get on the internet and look it up. There are no female fighter pilots. There are no female SEALs. There are no female Green Berets. It doesn't exist. And people like seriously, there are female pilots in the Air Force, but they are not fighter pilots because they can't meet the same G-force standards. It's not that hard to look it up, but they put these in all these films, and it's like, do you think you're honestly going to progressively somehow make that be a thing because you put it in a film? It's not how it works in real life. No, and I mean we know most people are aware of that. But you do have movies that are women-led that are good, like Alien. That was a good movie. Yes. Terminator, the first one. That was a good movie. It's a handful. I don't even know a lot, but there are some, but not these modern ones. Hell, nobody said anything about Kill Bill. I saw Kill Bill. Kill Bill was fine.
You probably safe if the movie came out before 2000.
Mhm.
After 2000, you kind of gotta cut that off.
Yeah, no kidding.
This is what I meant.
Yeah,
Loads of
loads of
people were
people in
in.
Colombo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
says
And
nerd
now
there.
see, they even making a woman Columbo. Not Columbo, not Columbo. Matlock. That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
I mean, Wonder Woman was of a female led, and that was fine. She wasn't overbearing
Hmm.
in the show. She was fine in the show. I could deal with that. I could get around that. But not these ones where, you know, I don't know, they're just girl boss, woman boss, whatever
Yeah,
they call them.
it's played out already. It's just frustrating. But what are you
Years
gonna
ago,
do?
didn't know.
Wonder Woman. Yeah, they still they're still doing it. You know, they're still pushing that up there.
Would have been great to get. Quincy was a medical
He was
examiner,
he
though.
was the chief medical examiner. I
Yeah.
remember watching it, but I don't remember it very well.
No,
She's not a
no,
fan.
no. I'm watching the show. I've never seen the Wonder Woman movies. I've
Yeah.
never seen them. Um, I'm watching the show, and the show is fine. I'm tolerable of Wonder Woman in the animated stuff, except for the movie, one animated movie of Wonder Woman.
Mhm.
That one, I don't know which one it was. I can't remember. I threw away the DVD because it was so bad. I didn't even watch 5 minutes.
Oh, I remember the
Hmm.
animated one.
Yeah.
That was pretty
Hey,
bad.
Chance,
Oh,
how are
there's
you?
Chance from Nostalgic Pod Blast. Check his channel out.
Yes,
He
check out
does a
his
lot of pop
channel.
culture related stuff.
He just did a showing all of
Ghost
his
Rider.
Ghost Rider books. So if you're a fan of Ghost Rider, go check that out. And now he wants to know about Dallas. So we're going to say what happened on Dallas one more
Because someone already asked Chance. You missed it.
time.
You,
So Mark is back in town and is demanding an answer. And Pam has agreed to marry him because he's about to die of cancer.
yes.
Bobby confessed his undying love to Pam, and Pam was like, "Oh, but Bobby, I already told Mark we're gonna get married." So
Because
now,
Bobby's an idiot because Pam is no damn good and JR was right from the beginning.
right. So I can never remember Miss Ellie's boyfriend name, but her sister, his sister Jessie, is in town, and she got plans to destroy that
Yeah,
wedding.
she don't like none of that.
She don't want none of that going on, so her and JR are gonna team up to destroy this wedding. Cliff Barnes has sold away his company. So,
And Nerd says X Files had loads of upcoming actors, including Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad. But before he was on the X Files, he was on Seinfeld.
yes.
He was the dentist.
Yeah.
And before he was on Seinfeld, he was a villain on the Flash live action show. Bryan Cranston.
Mm-hmm. He was on what?
The Flash. He was one of the villains on The Flash.
Oh, yeah,
You
yeah,
remember
yeah,
him?
yeah, 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 yeah.
So
Yeah.
he got around. And Fumbling says movies showed us female presidents, and now it could be a reality. Agree to disagree. Inspiration is okay with me.
Yeah, I mean that's fine that you are those things, but when you put them in a role that again, a 80-pound woman beating up a 200-pound man, that's just not going to happen. And that's all we're saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, agree to disagree. What else was I going to say? I was going to say something else.
Oh no. And Nostalgic says he saw an international SWAT competition where all women's team did dreadful. Really? They had that?
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Another show that had a lot of people was on Law and Order. All of the Law and Orders. You got Law and Order, SVU,
Ugh.
and Law and Order
Law and
CI.
Order was played out.
Yeah, but a lot of people came through those doors. Barnaby Jones. I don't remember. I remember that name, but I don't remember who that is.
And Reston wants TJ Hooker.
TJ Hooker competition.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what a TJ Hooker competition is, but
Uh-huh.
We had a lot of strong women in the 70s,
But
but
they
they
were
were
women,
still women.
says Nostalgic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They weren't all mannish and I don't need no man and all of that. You know, they were still feminine, go home and cook something or whatever.
Nostalgic talking about my owl. No, this is a blow mold owl from Union Products that I found at a yard sale today, and it works. That's why I turned it on. I showed it a couple of times. It's just 80s blow mold Halloween decor.
Mrs. Colombo. Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
Mrs. Colombo.
there was a Miss
She
Colombo.
had her own show.
She did temporarily.
Yeah.
They tried it. They tried that, and it didn't work out.
The Bionic Woman was strong woman, but at the cost of
Not
her.
at the cost of her
Not
femininity.
at the cost.
Yeah, and that was a
Yep.
popular show,
Mhm.
Bionic Woman. Actually,
But again, that came out in the 70s.
true.
Once you get past the 2000s, it starts going downhill.
Yeah, and people act like it never happened. That's the thing that gets me. Like that woman from Hunger Games saying she was the
The
first.
first.
I'm the first female action star. I broke the door open, and it's like, oh my god, are you serious? And I remember what's the name, the actress who played. I bet you Nostalgic knows what her name is. I forget. The woman who played Natasha Yar on Star Trek: The Next Generation. Responded, because that was a tweet. It was on X. Responded by saying, "Thank you for going back in time and making it possible for me to have a leading role on Star Trek back in the 80s."
Oh, Cranston was on King of Kings. He played the annoying neighbor.
Okay.
Buddy Epson.
Buddy Epson, another TV detective.
Have a lot of shows. Yeah, they had a lot of spin-offs.
They rode that into the ground.
They wore it out. They coming up with another CSI spin-off. Cyber investigators, I think. Something like that. It's another spin-off. Because they went everywhere. And then they got it even in Europe. CSI in London or something. It's a lot.
And Chance there, he says Tommy Lee Jones was on Barnaby Jones last night on MTV from 1975, or MeTV from 1975. Like, yeah, and I bet he still looked old. I bet he looked old then. He looked like he was 47. Just some people just born old, like what's his name? Now I'm stuck.
The black guy, Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman, she knew. And Barnaby was on 9 seasons.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman was born old. That man was old.
He looked old on the electric company.
Yeah. It's just some people that don't like that.
I guess.
Old. Like, what's his name? Oh, he got the handsome son. No, old guy, the Western guy. And he got the good looking son.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
He was in that
Clint
movie.
Eastwood.
Yeah.
See?
He old.
See that connection? That's how you know we've been married a long time.
We're gonna start looking alike. I don't know.
Oh, will we start looking alike? I don't know. You're gonna grow a beard?
You're gonna darken up, and I'm gonna lighten up.
Get real dark.
We're gonna our colors are gonna merge. They're gonna be one color. TV cops and detectives in the 80s should have done crossover episodes. So see if Columbo can solve a case for Jessica Fletcher.
Well, Gilgamesh back then, the shows most of the shows were good, and they didn't have to do crossovers.
Yeah. You got to do crossovers now to try to bring in new people to your show.
Yeah.
But you didn't have to do that. A lot of people like Murder, She Wrote, and a lot of people like Columbo, and they pretty much probably all the same people watched it.
But they didn't need to meet each other.
Right. Yeah, King of Queens. That's what it was. King of Queens was funny. I like that. The dad on that was funny. And Everybody Loves Raymond, the brother. A lot of but it was.
Reston wants to know if we're going to do movie watch reaction videos.
No.
Is that still a thing? Do people still do that?
I don't like reaction videos.
You know why? You know what the problem is?
Why?
You don't know if they're honestly having a reaction. They could have seen that film 12 times. You don't know. They could have heard that song 500 times since they were like 12 years old. And they're like, oh, snap. Oh, that's so awesome. You don't know if they've seen it for the first time. Overacting like they're on a game show. Oh, shut up.
Yeah, especially the ones, and they say me hearing the Bee Gees. What's that? The fast paced one from the Bee Gees.
Jive talking?
No. Staying Alive.
Okay.
For the first, you ain't in your whole life
ever heard that
anywhere. Haven't
anywhere.
heard Staying Alive before, and now I got to sit here and watch you overreact.
Yeah.
Acting like, oh my god.
Overacting.
Do all that.
Overacting.
No, I don't like reaction videos. And when it pops up on my YouTube feed, I hit never recommend this channel again.
And guess what? It will.
No, it don't. They do better.
Nostalgic says Captain Janeway written for Lindsay Wagner to play really in Star Trek Voyager, but she turned the role down, so Miss Columbo got the part instead of the Bionic Woman. Interesting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Scott Eastwood. He's good looking.
Says Uncarded.
Mm-hmm.
And Hank said, "Oh, hey, Hank is here.
Just got off work."
Kate Mulgrew
was
Miss Columbo.
Yeah,
and she also was the in Star Trek Voyager.
Okay, Morgan Freeman has the best, they do use his voice a lot for a lot of things, documentaries, and then I think he was on a navigation thing.
Well, I don't think they did that. I think that was a joke.
Oh, okay. Was it?
Yeah, because they were using foul language with it.
Oh, okay.
Because it was like, oh, yeah, you missed your turn. You're done effed up now. Things like that.
Okay.
They took clips from out of Shawshank Redemption or something.
Oh.
And audio clips and made like it was a navigation.
I knew a girl in high school who watched every episode of Law and Order. She thought it was the greatest thing ever and never shut up about it. She was in a state of horror when I said anime was better. I used to have all the Law and Orders on DVD.
Now I have to hide my head in shame, which is not easy now because I got the beard. But
I did. I used to love I had all three of them. I used to love them. And when I was in the military, especially when I was in Europe and when we were deployed, I used to buy a lot of the TV shows on DVDs because you couldn't watch them. I mean, they would select what shows you could watch because they had Armed Forces Network, and they would pick the most popular shows in America to play.
Yeah.
So, you would watch it. But then when you were deployed, you had nothing. So almost everybody bought TV shows, and then you swap them around. Here, you can watch that, and let me borrow your this. And that's how I got into Oz, because somebody had Oz. So I was watching that, got into that, bought the whole thing, and bought the last season, and the disc wouldn't play. So I never saw the last season of Oz.
I really didn't miss much.
Yeah, because it started getting dumb.
Of course, because they overplay the film. They overdo it, or they drag it out, and then it starts getting stupid.
Yeah, and when they changed the warden and they moved the cell block around, it kind of started getting a little stupid. And then I think I saw Up to the Fire. I can't remember.
Robert says the new Matlock is starting soon, and it's the woman from Misery. So So they're gonna call it Fatlock.
Oh, David.
And Nostalgic wants to watch Beretta to see if it's as good as they remember it, and they still like Kojak.
Okay.
And somebody else is Sun Bichu is invoking Starsky and Hutch.
Hey, Sun Bichu.
Eric is here. Reaction to Beetlejuice would be a fun one off though. You could, because she's never seen the first one. Because I never seen it.
Yeah, I can really sit there and watch it.
Yeah, you could really sit there and watch it. But then you'd be watching us watching. I mean, I don't get that either. You watch someone else watching something else.
I mean, now
I just
if it was like on Mystery Science where they do, or Riff Track where they do the live and you can watch the movie and them, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But I'm watching you and you watching a show I never seen,
Yeah.
and I'm still not seeing it because I'm watching your face.
Yeah.
So I don't want to see that. Even though the reaction videos almost never pop up in my recommendation.
Wow. As we yeah, Robert said likes Kate Mulgrew as a good Janeway. They always thought Lindsay Wagner or Aaron Gray would have been great as Janeway. Okay. Yeah, because I wasn't aware of that. And Legend says they found a box set of Murder She Wrote in their collection. Murder She
I
Wrote.
want the box set of Falcon Crest because we were watching that. We were doing good with Falcon Crest until they started charging you to watch it.
Yeah.
Then that got kind of lame.
Well, they do that too, and that's part of the charm of having actual physical media is
Yeah.
because you cannot rely on these streaming services
Mm-hmm.
to have or keep or even have anything complete. I remember when I tried to watch the Doctor Who, because I was like, oh, they got because Pertwee and Tom Baker, John Pertwee and Tom Baker. Those are my two Doctor Who's. Those are the ones I grew up with. Can't watch them. Can't watch them because it's incomplete. There's gaps all over the place, and those are like the episodes are set up in chapters, so you're missing chapters
Mm-hmm.
or you're missing whole segments from other seasons, and it's like, what the hell? You can't finish anything. It's a pain in the butt.
I went to the planetarium and the show was narrated by Morgan Freeman.
Said
Says
Raccoon there.
Raccoon.
Nostalgic says they're happy there's so much quality TV from the past.
Yeah.
And that's really the thing with us, and that's why we primarily watch vintage television shows, because again, you don't like the modern shows,
Mm-hmm.
don't watch them. You've got a lifetime's worth of old shows from whenever, whatever product you're of, the 90s, the 80s, whatever, going back decades. You've got a lifetime's worth of shows and movies and music and everything, and books and comics and whatever you want to read or watch or listen to. You don't have to deal with anything modern.
Mm-hmm.
You can just let it go.
Yeah.
And not watch it, not be subjected to it,
Not listen to that nasty music.
yeah, not let it drag you down, and enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy it and discover more things. There are shows you probably never saw,
Mm-hmm.
shows maybe you didn't see since when you were a kid, and you don't have to binge it. We don't recommend binge watching. We watch that's why we only watch an episode a week of a show until it's done. We not too long ago finished The Dukes of Hazzard, 7 seasons. We were watching that for like 2 years.
We watched we just finished watching the Flash, the 90s Flash.
Yeah,
we
just
finished that
the 90s
this
Flash.
week.
Saw the last episode. It was only a single season for
Yeah.
the 90s Flash, the Barry Allen Flash.
Yeah.
But,
But then we discovered a
that
lot
was
of
months.
shows like Danger Man or Secret Agent.
Yeah, Danger Man is the correct that's the British title, because that's allegedly the prequel to The Prisoner.
Mm-hmm.
And things like that. There's a lot of good stuff out there that's been produced for decades and decades, and you could spend your whole life exploring it without having to watch another modern show, listen to a new modern song, read a new modern comic. You don't have to. Why torture yourself?
You know what? If you had nothing but the entire season of Twilight Zone, and they said that's all you can watch, I'll be fine.
Yeah,
except for that last episode.
Yeah, the last episode on the box set.
That.
Yeah, but
I mean, that show you can rewatch that over and over and over again.
And there's certain shows that are like that you can watch again and again, and it won't crush you.
Yeah,
I could watch the first 2 seasons of Star Blazers again.
Star Blazers was good. We just finished that, right?
Yeah. The third season, I didn't like the direction it went in with Queen Guardiana. I didn't like the whole Queen Guardiana angle.
Oh, okay.
But especially the attitude at the end of it. Excuse me, where she was like, oh no, because it's like at the end she's telling Wildstar, the people of Earth, you have to get away from the warring ways, and you can't go out and fight anymore and all that. And it's like, bitch, they saved your life twice. Okay, they rescued you from that planet
and saved your
and
planet.
saved your planet while Boer shock troops were running around just machine gunning down people and his body's piled knee deep in the streets. And the Star Blazers crew and Desloc's invasion force saved you, and you're going to bitch about them fighting. Okay, go back to your planet and die. You know, seriously, I didn't like the whole Queen Guardiana angle with that third season. Plus, they changed the voice actors.
Yeah, I didn't like that. David, they are going to remake Enemy Mine and leave Matlock alone. Not allowed to touch that one.
Oh yeah, don't do Matlock. Enemy Mine. No, they shouldn't redo Enemy Mine. That was classic. And some Bichu says they need to make
Ooh,
$6 Man movie.
$6
No, no,
million man
no, not
movie.
the $6
No.
million man. Well, he'd have to be $6 billion now.
Yeah.
And Munin liked Total Recall, the original, especially the scene with that one chick. Oh God, the reboot. There was a reboot of Total Recall.
I don't know.
Couldn't have done that well.
It's Followed That Bird on Blu-ray or DVD.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, you gotta look it up on
I'm
Amazon
not sure actually.
or eBay.
It might be, yeah. And Johnny Future's there.
You know,
we'll catch
work.
the replay.
Okay.
And, well, yeah, it is what it is. And Nerd says Tom Baker with the long scarf is my Doctor Who. And I talked about it before that the another part of the reason why he was so good was because the transition was so well done between him and the John Pertwee, because they both have a very similar theatrical academic acting style. You know, they sound like they're from right off stage. You know what I mean? So the transition was good. It wasn't like they went through a transition and it's like an entirely different person. I hated that about Doctor Who. Actually, it was a way to get away from replacing the original guy because he had a heart attack. But those two seemed similar, and it occurs to me they should seem somewhat similar, even if they look a little different. They should seem somewhat similar, and they had drastic personality changes with some of them. And Nerd says he has the Mego Tom Baker Doctor Who and Cybermen, and he used to have Leela. Yeah, from they were made by Harbo, and they were made by Palatoy, right? And they're technically Mego. See, here's the Doctor Who, and this is the excuse me, not Harbo, Harbert, the Italian version, and the British versions were made by Palatoy, but they're the exact same figures in the same packaging, and that's the whole set. These are really, really tough to get, and the Cyberman in particular, his suit tends to flake. So yeah, these are tough. That's a real any of those are a crowning achievement if you can find them in halfway decent shape.
They expensive?
Yes.
Oh God.
And the more obscure, the more expensive it gets. I think the Doctor is the one they made the most of. And then all of the other characters, that robot was from the very first Tom Baker episode, and so on. And then the Cybermen and whatever, they can be really tough to come by.
Gilgamesh dated a girl that only binge watched. She'd get mad at him if he fell asleep after the 6th or 7th episode in a row. He can't take no more than 3 episodes in a row.
Well, we don't recommend it because you can't remember what happened. Basically, and that's been my experience. I've talked to people who have binge watched series, and it's like, oh, then you remember this and you remember that, and they're like, that happened.
Yeah,
they don't even know. It's like, slow down. You know, that's just the way we enjoy it. 1 episode a week, 2 maybe if it's a half-hour show, or like the Batman 66, they're in 2 parts, so we'll watch both parts together because they're only a half an hour show anyway. But, you know, no more than that, so that we can absorb it and enjoy it, maybe even talk about it, you know, whatever.
The only shows I can binge watch is like home decorating shows, House Hunters, American Greed, shows where they don't really go together and you don't have to put a lot of thought into what you're watching. But if you got a show and it kind of fits together, interlocks in a way, you can't really binge watch all that. Now, when I had foot surgery, I binge watch Lost. I binge watch a lot of shows because I couldn't do nothing. I couldn't
Yes.
go nowhere. So I saw all of Lost. I think I watched Lost in like a week, and a lot of other shows. Whatever we had Netflix at the time. I think I watched like everything on Netflix during that time. And that's the only time I ever binge watch. And like I said, I can watch House Hunters all day long, or
It gets to be a
any
blur.
yeah, any kind of home decorating shows. I can do that all day, but Dallas, no. Or some show like that.
Yeah. Yeah, especially something like at Dallas. It's too detailed.
Yeah,
There's too much going on.
yeah,
Eric says there was another actress cast as Captain Janeway. You still on Captain Janeway?
yeah.
But and that she as filmed as extras on the Voyager. It's quite jarring, and thankfully she quit.
Mm,
Okay.
after a couple
And
of
Munin
days.
says it's one thing to binge watch a few episodes. After 3, you can miss me with that. And Nerd says, yeah, Total Recall reboot with Colin Firth.
Oh,
And also says Palatoy here in the UK. Correct. Yeah, I figured. And DC is here.
hey.
He says Biff Bang Pow did Meagle like 8-inch Doctor Who.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they did a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I got a bunch
Nice
of Biff
line.
Bang Pals.
Yeah, she's got you got the Twilight Zone and the what was it? Outer Limits
Universal Monsters.
or Universal Monsters?
Yeah, no, that wasn't them. That's Diamond Select.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Biff Bang Pow made a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they made some
They
nice
made
stuff.
a lot of Meagle-like figures.
Yeah.
Meagle-like figures are pretty popular.
I
And
like, another thing about them. I like all of their stuff came in a protective case, so it was
there's a
already.
clamshell over
Yeah,
the carded figure, correct?
yeah. That made it like appealing.
Gilgamesh has to keep from binge reading. I'll sit down for hours without realizing. Well, at least you're reading at you're absorbing at a particular pace. It's
Mhm.
not being thrown at you like on the show. And Robert binges Twilight Zone or Columbo. And Hank wants to know, are they remaking Enemy Mine because nobody went to see the original when it came out? I agree, it's a classic.
I don't know Enemy Mine.
Louis Gossett Jr. played the alien.
Oh, okay.
It was in the future, and Earth's at war with another alien race, and the human and the alien got trapped on a planet together, and they were like, okay, we're gonna have to cooperate or we're both gonna die here.
Mm-hmm.
And so they came to an agreement between the two of them. And Louis Gossett was the alien. It was kind of reptilian looking.
Mm-hmm.
You would never know it was Louis Gossett Jr. in there with the voice that he used and with the makeup.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was a classic film. It's just one of those films that there's too much going on summer of that year. You know how back then blockbusters really were summer blockbusters. And so it slipped under the radar. It might have done better any other time.
David says he likes vintage toys or toys made of vintage properties. I recently got a set of figures with vehicles from the cartoon Space Cateers.
Oh, yes.
That was part of the Force 5 cartoon
We
TV
showed
show.
that. Yeah, that was the Friday episode, Space Cateers, right? And we showed that a few months back on one of the roundups.
Oh, okay.
Because it's one of the few examples of a good alternative to the vintage ones, because the real vintage ones from Japan, man, they're expensive.
Oh, yeah?
The Space Cateers. And they had the little figure with the little vehicles, sets, and everything. You'll pay like damn near $1,000 for one in the box now.
Oh,
easily.
Really?
Yeah. And Patrick's joined us.
Hey, Patrick.
Glad you could make it. Yeah, Space Cateers was cool. I didn't like the princess. She was manipulating the three of them. The three knights. Yeah, of course. You know that they were following Tail to save the universe. She manipulated those guys. That wasn't cool. I did like the guy's calculator though. The calculator. I remember because the tall guy from the water planet, and he had a calculator. He was like, "Let me figure this out." And he punched a bunch of buttons, and then all these different like numbers and pictures, like you'd see like all these equations, and then you see like a picture of a cat, and then you see like a picture of a cowboy hat and all kinds of weird stuff would pop
Mm-hmm.
up on there. And I remember even one episode, somebody's like, "How can you even figure out what that means?" It's like, oh man. Munit says no movie feels like an actual
'Cause it
blockbuster
ain't.
anymore. Some movies get a little hype, but that quickly fizzles out. You know what the problem is, Munit. And Chance, are you still in here? I'm just gonna break some. Let me read one more comment, and then
Mm-mm.
I'll get on my diatribe.
Go
You
ahead.
want me to
Yeah,
get on my
you got, yeah.
diatribe now?
Mm-hmm.
Get up on my soapbox. The problem is that people have been subjected to bad cinema, bad television, bad writing, and bad acting
Mm-hmm.
for so long that when something mediocre comes along, they mistake it for being good. And even critics. And then you hear the old, "That's good for what it is" line. No, it's not good. That's the problem. And that's why my criteria is always, if you watch a show or you watch a movie, honestly ask yourself, could I watch that again?
Yeah.
Could I watch it again? Could I watch Citizen Kane again? Yes.
Yeah.
Could I watch Raiders of the Lost Ark again? Yes. Could I watch The Last Dragon again? Yes. Absolutely. Could I watch Avengers Endgame again? If I never see it again, I don't care. It wasn't that good. I'm sorry.
It was okay.
It would, yeah, exactly. It was okay for what it was, but it doesn't mean it was good. Could I watch the first Iron Man again? Yes, actually, it wasn't bad.
Mm-hmm.
That was decently done, and it was well acted, and you got the point of the character. That's what it should do. That's what a movie should do.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the stuff, I've said it before, you can see the buildup. We see a lot of good films from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and in the 80s, it really peaked. And then in the 90s, you still had some good films, but you could feel it, you know, and it's Jurassic Park's fault, because Jurassic Park showed you could get a lot of CGI into a film and save on the budget, even though now for some reason CGI costs hundreds of millions of dollars,
Yeah.
and it doesn't hold up as well as Jurassic Park does from the 90s, go figure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the stuff that's being put out now, almost all of it's pretty bad. It's all agenda driven, it's badly written, it's boring. The TV shows, even you see it in the comic books, the art style is bad, the
Mm-hmm.
writing is bad. And then when something that's not quite so bad pops up, you're like, oh, okay. Because you're like, oh, please, please. No, it's still not good. I'm sorry.
The Joker movie was good.
Yeah, Joker was good. But I mean, you have your anomalies
Yeah, you got
every
them
once in a
ones that
while.
are.
But when we were growing up, man, every year there was movies that were coming out that to this day you could still go back and watch it.
Yeah.
You know, every year, not every few years, a movie came out that's good enough that you might want to see it again.
Mm-hmm.
Too much has changed. And Nostalgic says vintage Space Cateers toys were very expensive. The action toy version was the next best thing. Exactly. Yeah, the original ones, man, they get up there.
And we saw a movie today. It came out in 1980 called Hangar 18. And it was a good movie about these astronauts. They were in space and they were doing some repair. And they didn't know what it was at the time because they thought it was a meteor. And it hit the astronaut that was doing a spacewalk to do his repairs and killed him. And come to find out, it was a UFO and it landed on Earth, and all of that went on. But that was a good movie, you know. For I guess for the time it was good. Probably during that time they didn't think it was all that good, but when you compare it to what we get
modern
now,
stuff, yeah,
it was
it
good
wasn't
movie.
bad at all.
And I like watching older movies. Like I said, I look for things that come out pre-2000.
Robert wants to know if the Shogun Warriors characters, I assume you mean these, all knew each other or were they separate? They were each from a different show.
Okay.
And Nerd says, sometimes I feel like after the 90s, we've been stuck in a reboot loop. Yeah. Because, I mean, there were still good films in the 90s. The Crow was a really well done film.
What about the new Crow?
Chill, please.
You don't know
Even the
because you didn't
sequels, even the
see it.
sequels to the, because there were more than one Crow.
Oh, was
They
it?
kept trying to bring it
Oh,
back,
I
and they
didn't
had
know
Crow
that.
2, Crow 3. They were terrible.
Oh.
And Dark Man with Liam Neeson.
Mm.
Goofy film, but it's fun. I could watch that again. But they made sequels of that without Liam Neeson, and they were terrible.
Okay, nostalgic was answering that.
Yeah, he was answering the same
Okay.
question. And Hank says their dad took them to see Jurassic Park on the 6th birthday, and my mind was blown. It was not a movie, that was an event. Yeah. And the CGI still holds up, and the stuff you see in the modern films CGI, it's like it's terrible. A lot of it's terrible. It's like, how much did this cost? And that's why you hear a lot of the YouTube critics calling it money laundering. It's like, you stole that money. There's no way. There's no way. And
Yeah.
Munin says, I hit the nail on the head. Most of these modern movies are just a one-time watch. Bad writing, bad characters, bad enough, but the agendas make some of the movies and shows unwatchable. Plus, a lot of the acting is not good either. It's
Hmm.
terrible acting. And the Acolyte, just recently, with all that bad writing, bad special effects,
Hmm.
and then
Bad
bad
acting.
storytelling, and the acting was dismal. The girl, they made fun of her relentlessly because she has one expression, one tone of voice. She's not emoting at all.
Yeah,
So
we talked about that
yeah,
last week.
she doesn't emote.
Don't
So
go
it's
to
like,
her acting
how
school.
can you enjoy it? Yeah, it's like, man, show me some emotion. Where did you learn how to act? Or I mean, seriously. And then you're going to attack your audience, and the show's not even over, and you're attacking your audience. It's ridiculous.
But that one girl from Snow White attacked the audience before they even started filming.
Yes, that's true.
It's like, girl, you ain't even signed your name good yet. At least let the movie get to editing stage.
I guess these people don't ever want to work again. And Gilgamesh says Jurassic Park was the first movie they went to see more than once in theaters and still enjoyed it. The book is still better, though. Of course. Well,
Oh, it's a
yeah,
book?
yeah. You can only translate so much to screen within a certain time frame.
Mm.
And Robert says never saw Joker. Can't see Joker without a Batman. Well, it's not the Joker Joker. It's, think of it more of a psychological thriller. And King Panther says
Hey, King Panther.
he agrees regarding the current state of movies. Here are 31 considered tens
3
to
I
me.
consider.
Oh, I'm sorry, I read it wrong. 3 I consider tens to me, and I can watch over Starman, Heat, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I remember Starman.
I like Heat. I think I saw Heat a couple of
Mm-hmm.
times. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I ain't care for that movie. I never really care for it.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody needs 3 takens.
Oh yeah.
No. I
Well,
saw the
the
first
first
one.
one is okay.
Yeah.
I never saw the sequels.
I know. I didn't know they had sequels.
Yeah.
Actually, I know I saw the first one though. That's when they kidnapped his daughter, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, that's when they kidnapped the daughter. And Nostalgic said they mostly have lost the CGI tech from the 90s, same as NASA says they lost the 60s tech, and that's why they had so many issues going
Yeah,
to the moon.
sure
Okay.
they did.
And Darren says seeing Close Encounters of the Third Kind in the theater was memorable. Yeah, it was a good
I'm trying
film,
to
too.
remember I think the first movie I ever saw in the theater, I think it was Dirt Bike Kid, and I was dumb as can be. But Dirt Bike Kid.
Dirt Bike Kid.
What's the first one you saw?
First one I saw was Murder by Death.
I keep wanting to see that movie, but
You
you
did
got.
see it.
Oh, I did see it.
We have it
Oh,
on disc.
okay.
It's the one where they have all of the actors who are portraying famous
With Columbo in it.
yeah, somebody's pretending to be Columbo, somebody's,
Mm-hmm.
all the famous detectives from different detective shows are, and it's a comedy. That's the first.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
second film I saw in theaters was the original Star Wars.
Mm.
That was a cinematic experience. That's a legacy film that I could watch again and again. Munin says the Acolyte was a bad joke. Nobody will remember it except for the toys that will sit at Ollie's for the next decade. Who saw the pictures circulating on Facebook today? I forget. I don't. Justice Curry put it up first,
Uh-huh.
and it's a bin.
At
I don't know if it's
Oh,
Ollie's
okay.
because I don't recognize the signage. It's got red lettering on it. It's Black Series Star Wars figures. They're $1. Was $26.99 clearance $1, and it's a Gaylord. You know, the big cardboard bin loaded with Black Series Star Wars figures.
Starman was a good movie. I remember Starman, the TV show, where the guy was an alien and he came back because he had impregnated the woman and he had a son, and they kind of traveled around going, I don't know why, but they traveled around and he had this little ball and he could do magic. You know, you like point at whatever and he can do all of this and do all of that. That used to come on in the 80s, Starman.
Mm-hmm.
But he had a son because he was on Earth before. They didn't show that part, but they talked about it. How he got, I think the boy was like 6, 7 years old. How you get a 6, 7-year-old boy, but he had been to Earth before. And that was his son. And I think the mama had died or something like that.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't remember it too well.
Mm-hmm.
And Nerd says Jurassic Park by Michael Critterton. Excuse the spelling. It's okay. And James says Stan Winston Studios did a lot of practical effects in Jurassic Park, so it made it a better movie. And combining it like that works too, like with Terminator 2. And they only wanted to use CGI only on the T-1000's transformations. And the rest of it was practical effects. Real squibs, not digital squibs.
Yeah.
The building, they really blew up an office building,
Mm-hmm.
you know, stuff like that. They wanted to use as many practical effects as possible to incorporate, and just for transformation purposes. I mean, they even hired twins, so that if he was ever standing in front of himself, it wasn't split screen, it wasn't CGI. It was a twin, like the security guard. There were two of them, you know, or the mother. She has a twin sister in real life. That was her twin sister in that scene at the end. God, what the hell was her name? Sarah Connor. The actress who played Sarah Connor has a real life twin sister. And Gilgamesh says, only new movie I can think of I could watch again is Bullet Train. If you haven't seen that, it's worth watching. I never saw Bullet Train.
I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
And Robert said, anyone remember Phoenix? It was a lot like Starman. How about Lucian? Anyone remember that show?
No.
I don't remember Phoenix. I'm not sure if I saw that. I'm not sure if I saw that, but you know, you don't always
watch
remember
everything now.
Can't watch everything.
No.
And you may not remember. You may not remember everything.
Yeah.
Unless it was just really that amazing. Union says they made jokes about Black Series figures and bins several times. Who would have thought they would end up as a whole $1? My joke has become brutal reality. Let's see if I can pull that up here real quick.
The reason I have a Christopher Reeve Superman figure is because of the memory of my mom taking us to the movie. Yeah, my parents didn't take us to the movies. I don't know how I got to see the Dirt Bike Kid, but I did. And I remember seeing Masters of the Universe in movie theaters. And I remember thinking, because I used to watch the cartoon, this ain't nothing like a cartoon.
Okay.
And it was hard for me to follow. But now, you know, good well, you can't find nothing once you see it on Facebook.
I found it.
Oh, okay.
Because I know where I saw it. That's why.
Uh-huh.
And here it is. Let's see. And the sign, okay, I don't know if you can read it. Great find, was $26.99, now $1. And I don't know what store that is because I don't recognize the sign.
It's coming in view now.
Okay, and it's a Gaylord full of Black Series Star Wars figures, and there's another one behind it there. But I don't know where that store is. $1. Scraping the barrel.
Pete
Hasbro.
Butler's mom took him to see Car Wash.
Well, that's about as appropriate as me going to Murder by Death at that age.
Yeah, but your mama didn't take you.
No, she did not take me. She did. That's right. She did not take me.
I got a Car Wash soundtrack. Bullet Train is an action movie starring Brad Pitt. It's good. Don't
be a diesel.
Oh,
But
Train to Busan was good.
you know that the funny thing is with the car wash, it's considered a musical,
Hmm.
but there nobody in it is actually singing.
Because they
They're
playing
playing the
music.
music in the
Yeah,
background.
that's good enough.
But I guess. And Nostalgic says we used to go to the movies on Tuesday because tickets were half price. When I was living in Kansas,
Hmm.
they had one of those theaters, the Bottom Out Theater.
The
When thing,
dollar show.
yeah, they
I
had
used to go
something
to the
like that
dollar show
because
all the time.
that's where I saw Lord of the Rings for the first time. Was at that theater? I think it was like $1.50 or something. I
Yeah.
forget. But it's like, yeah, why the hell should I pay to go to the real movie theater when it's ready to transition out? They send it down here and I can watch it for $1.50 2 months later.
Yeah. Because I used to go to the dollar show all the time, and then they raised the price to $1.50. And I used to go and see movies all the time. And then when we worked at the center, one of the theaters around here,
Yeah, the matinee,
yeah, it used to be $2 on like Wednesday or
something
something.
like that.
Yeah. That picture is legendary. There's
No
no
coming
coming
back
back for Hasbro.
from that. As
Yeah.
yeah, says Munin. No kidding. And Blue Splash says they're opening up figures while listening to the stream. Oh,
Oh.
ow.
Ugh, I feel sick.
Oh.
I'm just joking.
Gilgamesh says their ollies is like that with Black Series starting lineup legends.
Uh,
And that was another bad one. The original price on those was something like $65 or $68 for those
yeah.
Marvel Legends starting
Yeah.
lineups. Um,
We
the
don't have a ollies around us.
but they were what, 489 or something at the ollies. That's a
Yeah.
huge drop.
But Big Lots got
Yeah.
toys, but they don't have like ollie type toys. So it ain't the same.
And Nerd says he's going to say it again. Hunger Games is a good, fairly new film franchise. I've seen the first one.
I never saw Hunger Game. I saw
It was
Maze
okay.
Runner.
I saw the first one.
The first Maze Runner was good,
Uh-huh.
and I tried to watch the second one, but something went on with the stream, and I couldn't watch it.
Oh,
I think I had it on disc actually, and the
really?
disc was messed up.
This was messed up.
Yeah, but it's like 3 Maze Runners, and I liked the first one. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so we said that.
And Robert misses matinees.
Yeah.
Nostalgic said they used to go to the smaller theaters that were in the mall and had cheap prices. Nothing wrong with that.
And you can actually afford to buy some popcorn.
Blue Splash said, "Don't worry, it's not vintage."
Okay.
Oh, dodged a bullet.
Yeah, that's a load off.
Munin says starting lineups were horrendous failure. All those licensing fees to end up at Ollie's for $7.99. No cheaper than that. Because I did the short, it's less than $5.
Well, everybody has a
That's
different.
true.
Yeah, the one we went to it was
Yeah.
what, $4 or $5.
Yeah. What Ollie's is the new KB toy store, their department, their toy department anyway. Gilgamesh says Dawn of the Dead from the early 2000s got people that were actually missing limbs to play zombies. They used to do stuff like that. Like
Oh, that one movie we watched about the 3 soldiers coming back from war, and they all lived in the same town,
it
and
was
the
a
one guy had no
40s
arms.
movie or something,
Yeah,
a 50s film.
the one guy had
His hands were missing.
Yeah, well, he was missing
Yeah.
like all up to here.
Yeah.
But they found a real guy that was really in the war that
Yeah.
lost his arms
Yeah.
to play that part. That's the only part he ever had, and he actually won an award for
Yeah,
it.
he won
played that
he
part.
won like an Oscar for it
Yeah.
because he well, I mean, he was speaking from experience. So
Yeah.
when he's talking about it, he's really pouring his guts out on
Mhm.
camera, and the Academy felt it,
Yeah, and then he
Yeah.
wanted he had a girlfriend, and he was supposed to marry her, and then didn't want to because he didn't have arms, didn't know how they were going to feel, didn't know how his
He was
family
afraid
was
that,
going to take
like, when she sees me without this, what the hell is she gonna think?
Yeah,
You
so
know?
they had the scene where he took off his shirt to show her, and she was like, "Okay, show me what I would have to do to help you go to bed." And then he would say, "Okay, this is what I have to do.
Unhook this.
Yeah, do
Get
this,
this
do
out.
that." And then she was leaving, and he said, "You have to leave the door open
Yeah.
because if it's a fire, I can't get out."
Yeah.
That was a sad part. And
he's trembling and he's crying. And it's
yeah,
like, oh wow, he's really
yeah,
feeling this.
that was a good movie. I
Mhm.
can't think of the name of it right now, but it's on Tubi, so it's free.
And
But
then E.T.
what
The
about it?
E.T. There was a guy with no legs inside that suit.
Oh yeah, on ET.
Yeah.
I never seen
Or
ET.
Silent Running. The three robots were
Mm-hmm.
three actors with no legs.
Mm.
They had their arms.
Oh,
And
Freaks.
that's a whole different animal. That's a whole. You couldn't even watch the rest of that.
I saw all of it, didn't I?
You didn't watch the whole thing. When they got to the One of Us scene where they're singing "Google Gobble, Google Gobble, One of Us, One of Us," you were like, I can't do this.
But it was another. Okay, it wasn't Freaks. It was the other movie
It
we
was
saw.
the remake of Freaks, starring Tom Baker.
No,
And
no.
they put Tom Baker in makeup, but the other people were actually circus freaks.
Okay, yeah, I saw that one.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was another movie we saw, and they had some like circus freaks or whatever, but they were in a haunted house, and they lived in the basement, and they were killing up all of the people that were staying in the house.
Oh,
Yeah, something like that. I
okay.
don't know. My dad took me to my first R-rated movie.
Papillion.
Papillion, Steve McQueen and Dustin Hoffman. It scared me never to break the law.
Says DC. You saw that? It's the one with the penal colony on the island.
Hmm?
It was prison. There was a
Oh.
penal colony and it was on an island.
Oh, okay.
You remember the scene where the guy was in lockup and he opened up his food bucket and there was a crab in there or something? No, you don't remember that? You saw it.
I probably did.
Nerd says we need to do more original creative film and TV content to keep the flame burning.
Yeah, okay. You tell that to Hollywood.
Yeah, tell that to Hollywood. They'll learn when they get ready to go bankrupt. Legend says he was curious if there was going to be a Minecraft
I heard
movie.
that with Jack Black. I heard that.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
And
I
DC
heard that.
says he heard that about Silent Running, that they had amputees. Yeah.
Oh, Nerd saw the Minecraft trailer, so
Oh,
I guess
no.
so.
Oh,
You're making
no.
that movie.
And Gilgamesh says McFarlane's putting out hockey figures again. Don't see them doing well. Well, I don't know. He dips in and out of things, so we'll see.
People Under the Stairs. Yeah, I
Oh,
saw People Under the
Blue
Stairs, but that's
Splash.
not the one I'm talking about. I know
Uh-huh.
that one. That one came out in like the 80s or 90s. No, this one came out in like the 40s. It came out and it had like some circus people in there. But they were kidnapped by the owner of the house and they were living there, and he had them like locked up in the basement.
Okay.
I can't remember that. You know, I'm not good with movies. That's why we can't ever do a movie trivia. How you gonna do a movie
And
trivia?
David wants to know if I have Little Rascals. Yeah, the Mego. I've got some of the Mego vehicles, but I don't have the carded figures. I don't have the carded figures, but that it's something that is on the radar. So if I ever found them they don't go for a lot.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
actually pretty inexpensive. But if I ever found them for a really decent price, I'd probably get the carded figures to go with it because it's something I used to watch. You know, when they adapted the shorts for television,
Mm-hmm.
and I would watch those in the mornings on UHF. You know, stuff like that. You know, you just had the Little Rascals and the Monkeys and I Dream of Jeannie and stuff like that on in the morning in the summertime. I would watch that. But I do have a couple of the Mego Little Rascals vehicles. It's one of those properties from Mego that doesn't sell for a whole crap ton.
Do a movie trivia.
Movie trivia. Well,
Yeah,
we've done a couple of trivia things.
not movies though.
No,
How you do a movie trivia?
We did theme songs. I don't know. I guess you could do something like you say a famous line from a film and see if people can guess it. But you know, all anybody's going to do is sit there and cheat and type. And
well, you can have somebody like me that saw a movie but don't know what it is. Describe it, and then you got to get a name.
oh God.
And then you see how horrible I am with describing a movie. We can do
Oh
that.
no. Oh, what's wrong with you? Gilgamesh said McFarlane Bleach figures keep getting pushed back, at least the ones they pre-ordered.
Oh, on Amazon, do
He's starting to spread thin too. We
all
talked
of them
about that with
are?
Super 7 earlier. They don't want to concentrate on just a couple of things. They want to try to make as much cash as they can, and they spread themselves too thin, and it starts getting weird.
I think they just try to throw out this big net so they can catch as many things as they can. So it's like, let's do Spawn, let's do DC, let's do this, let's do that, so we can catch just a lot of people.
Hmm.
And I don't know if it always works because something goes wrong. Somebody's not getting a lot of attention, and then the figures get messed up, and you're not getting good quality
Yeah.
stuff for your money. So I think it should be okay. This year we're going to focus on DC.
Uh
Next
huh.
year we're going to focus on this. We're going to focus on that.
No.
I don't know.
No. We got to make as much money as we can before this all goes to shit.
Well,
That's
with
the thing.
the economy the way it is, a lot of people are backing off because they just don't have the money
Yeah, it's too
for it.
expensive and it's too much. How
Yeah.
many Black Series figures do you need? You know, for
hmm
Star Wars. I mean, what wave are they on? It's insane.
But you have to. I mean, but people got to pay their bills. They got to eat,
Yeah.
and you might have an understanding spouse, but they're gonna only understand as long as that light on. I'm serious because I mean I'll be cool with everything you do, but the second that light get turned off, we got a problem. Or we get that little letter talking about, oh, you behind on your mortgage or your
Oh
car
no.
payment didn't get paid or something. Now we're gonna have to sit down and have a conversation. Things like that gonna have to happen. So, people got to rethink.
I
Watched a
guess.
horror movie called Barbarian, nude humanoid
Humanoid.
woman living in a underground dungeon trying to breastfeed her victim.
Blue Splash. I never heard of that one. Never heard of that one.
No.
Gilgamesh says the two Bleach figures McFarlane shows off for his first wave look good, but with his track record, I'm thinking I'll end up with a few random characters. Then the line will silently and suddenly end.
End.
And Robert wants to see Barbarian now.
Is Barbarian on Tubi?
Who knows?
Sounds like.
I never heard of that one. The only Barbarian movie I ever heard of was the one with the Barbarian brothers,
Mm-hmm.
bodybuilders, were in a
Yeah.
film called Barbarian that was like a rip on Conan. It was like a B film version of Conan. And the Munin still with the Bleach. He says McFarlane's Bleach figures look interesting in general. I feel he should have stayed away from anime licenses with how he designs his figures and ability to drop lines immediately. But McFarlane is a businessman. He is a businessman. He was never even a comic artist.
Mm-hmm.
He was a graphics design artist. He drawing like dresses and stuff, for catalogs. He wasn't that kind of an artist. He just figured a way to make money.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't like a good comic artist per se, but he had a very unique style and it worked for him. It worked really well. Um, but yeah, he's a businessman and he's in business to make money. Bottom line. Remember, he was the first one to go all in, although it had been done before with variant covers. He was the first one all in with a large set of deliberate variants with that Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And then he transferred that concept to toys when he started making the Spawn figures. And oops, we made it green instead of orange. My bad. China must have misunderstood, and doing stuff like that and whipping people up with artificial demand. And now the figures are worthless. McFarlane is a businessman. He doesn't care about the rest of it, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, they directed at adults, but they are just putting it out. Like we were showing, um, what's that? Mythic Legions, and how many figures did they put out in one wave? It's like 12 figures.
Yeah.
So if you actually collect that, That's like 12 figures for $50
roughly 50 a piece.
each.
And then there might be another wave in like 3 to 4 months. You
Right.
know,
So it's like,
how do
okay,
you
you
keep up?
gotta, you want to put out 12 figures, but why not put it out once a month, every other month, or something like that?
Yeah.
A figure, maybe two figures, something like that.
No, wave after wave. And, Mythic Legions is just one of their properties
Yeah.
that they're cranking out. And it's like,
Hmm.
and there are people that really like them. And I've never handled one. I don't know if it's a good quality figure or not, but I know they're popular. Um, it's hard to keep up.
Hmm.
It's hard to keep up.
Yeah, and I've been seeing a lot of videos on YouTube about people that are getting out of collecting, and they got a lot of reasons, but one of them is the prices and how many figures are coming out at one time. And but the main reasons are the prices and how many figures are coming out. They got a lot of other reasons too. But yeah, with again the cost of living, and you got to pay your rent, your or mortgage and car and insurance and your utilities and food. And if you got a wife and kids, that's you already in the hole pretty good. Now you trying to have a little hobby, and it's an expensive hobby. If you can't keep yourself reined in, like some people, they say, okay, I'm able to buy one figure a month, and they do that.
Hmm.
But then you got other people, you can't buy one figure a month. You probably buy five, six figures. And then please don't be like a Hot Toys collector or something like that,
Yeah.
buying statues and vintage stuff, because some vintage stuff get expensive. You start talking about Transformers, Masters of the Universe, and all those weird things. You know.
Yeah. DC says he can't understand how Super 7 chart is 24 for a reaction figure while McFarlane Superpowers are $10. Uh,
Yeah.
because people will pay for it, and there's enough of them selling at the full price to justify the other ones ending up on clearance.
Yeah.
Tuck never liked McFarlane Spider Man. Nerd says, you guys like the Aliens franchise. Have you seen the new Romulus film? We have not seen the Romulus film. I do like the original Aliens franchise. I don't know about any modern incarnations. The
Mm-mm.
Alien, which was a horror film, really,
Hmm.
and then Aliens was a good movie.
Yeah, I saw Aliens versus Predator. I liked it. I
Yeah,
thought it was
it
good.
was okay.
Yeah,
It made sense.
yeah. It's like NECA. They go for 6 months not putting out anything. Then you'll have $400 worth of Ninja Turtles all drop on the same day. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and that's overwhelming too. And NEC is another example, and they've had tons of QC issues for years, and they haven't made an effort to fix any of them. They don't even care. Blue Spash says saw some weird YouTube video popped in the feed claiming Smurfs are satanic. They're not satanic. They are not satanic. As a matter of fact, in the Christmas special, they beat the devil.
Hmm.
All right, because they sang "Goodness makes the badness go away," and the devil was so annoyed. Stop it! I can't concentrate. He actually left. But um, no, they are a model for socialism.
Hmm.
The way that the original intention from the writer was that they were supposed to be a model for socialism. But of course, yeah, it works for the Smurfs because they're Smurfs. It doesn't work in real life.
Yeah.
Munin says very few McFarlane figures seem to hold value aside from Bleach. New collector's edition Huntress looks all right.
Hmm.
Now, I don't know about value wise aftermarket with McFarlane stuff.
I know that Spectre figure is expensive because I've been trying to find it, and I'm not paying all that money for it.
Robert wants to know when's the last time I bought something toy wise. Probably not since the last show we attended.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
probably not since the last show we attended.
Yeah, we haven't bought any toys or comics
Yeah,
in a
for a little
while.
bit, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We save our pennies, and then
Yeah.
if anything pops up, especially with Joe Lanta coming up here, if
We
we
don't usually buy too much outside of the shows though.
yeah
Every now and then, we might get something on eBay or Amazon.
yeah
But outside of that, we don't usually buy too much outside of the
Yeah,
shelf.
because really we're deal hunting, and I've said it before. We're not millionaires. We couldn't have done any of this if we weren't finding like really sweet deals for whatever piece of this and that we happen to pick up.
Yeah, I'm with you, Came. I used to collect the NECA Ninja Turtles
Hmm.
and the ones in the boxes. They had certain characters that were in the flat boxes. I used to collect those. Um, but I stopped with the Ninja Turtles some years back because they were supposed to be in Target and you could never find them. And I
That's
just got
why I
tired
stopped.
of it.
That's why I gave up on the damn classified figures.
Yeah, I just
Got
got
tired of it.
tired of it. And now you can find them in Target, but because a lot of people got tired of that. And I went exclusively to Super 7 because at the time, NECA was selling turtles and Super 7 was selling them at the same time. So after I couldn't find them at Target like I was supposed to, I just went exclusively to Super 7 to get Ninja Turtles. And then I said I was going to get them up to wave 10, and now I'm at wave 10, so I quit.
Okay.
Yeah, but they just, they made it too hard, and it seemed like they were playing some kind of cruel, wicked game. And I didn't like it. I thought it was just ridiculous, a ridiculous business model to put something out so limited that people got to go all over earth to find it and go on YouTube, not YouTube, eBay to find it
Yes.
and pay these ridiculous prices. And then a few months later, another round a pop up in the stores, and it's like, okay, now I already went to eBay and all of this and found it, and now you're going to put it back on the shelf and put out another wave. It just got too much, and who wants to do that? So I think because of that and some other reasons, that and poor quality, a lot of people got out of buying stuff.
Yeah. Plus, it's expensive.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
it's expensive because
it adds up quick.
when I was buying the NECA figures, they were $24. I jumped out at $28. That's where I capped out. And I haven't bought a NECA figure since they were $28. When they were $28, that's when I stopped buying. I ain't bought none since.
Yeah. Tuck says McFarlane said in an interview he drew Venom poorly because he despised the character. I thought by that metric he pretty much hates Spidey as well, just slightly less. Well,
That's
that
stupid.
doesn't mean that you do less quality.
Mm-hmm.
You know, deliberately reducing your quality because you don't like something. You do the
Yeah.
best you can.
It's ridiculous. People look for anything to find something negative.
According to Blue Splash, there, yeah,
Yeah.
they do. And Gilgamesh is holding off on the McFarlane Spectre figure because of how expensive he is.
Yeah.
He's someone I can see being released cheaper as a glow in the dark version or something.
Yeah, because they got the metallic version and they have like the regular one, and both of them went up aftermarket. And then he has like the figures I want from McFarlane, you can only buy on his website. No, I'm trying to do all that.
Yeah.
I just want to go in the store and find it.
And Nerd says, I find as you find the toys you want, you buy less often.
Hmm? What does that say?
He said, personally, I find as you find the toys you want, you buy less often.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, I understand what that means. Yeah,
And Legend says he wants to know if we have a home gym.
yeah.
Yeah, we do actually. We work out together 5 days a week,
Hmm.
actually.
We do videos on YouTube. Those follow along videos. I like
Uh-huh.
the follow along
And
videos.
Nostalgic one says, unfortunately, there's too many collectors buying stuff from NECA and Super 7, regardless of the overpriced or quality
Yeah,
issues. You have to vote with your wallet. Yeah.
yeah,
And they find, and I've made that argument, they'll find ways to justify it. They'll find ways to justify it. And that's where I get upset with this. Oh, you got to boil it in water. You can't open the package until the package reaches room temperature. You can't, you got to use a hair dryer. You got to do this. And it's like, no, I
nobody
don't have
trying
to.
to do all that stuff.
No, it's called quality control. It's called it should work when I open it because I paid a fortune for the damn thing. Not not that I've got to do all this special stuff to it after the fact to make sure it doesn't fall apart in my hand.
It shouldn't fall apart. I mean, any of this other stuff that's still sealed up, if you take it out 9 times out of 10, it's not going to fall apart. And they
Yeah.
were made in the 70s, 80s, some of them in the 90s. They didn't just fall apart soon as you took them out of the package.
No, and they're still intact.
Yeah.
I guess Steve Scout sitting over there, he's fine. My vintage deluxe Star Wars figures, they're fine. The Shogun Warriors are fine. They still work. All the rocket firing mechanisms still function on these. You know, um, they were better quality. They were just better quality. They cared more about the functionality.
Yeah.
Robert wants us to read the fan letters. We have read those before.
We read them as we get them.
Yeah. Munin says there's few classified figures that just sit on the shelf.
Mhm.
Surprisingly, it was the retro styled figures. Some even went to clearance.
You still see them at Walmart and Ollie's and places like
I think
that.
the novelty wore off for a lot of people because they couldn't find them
Yeah.
at first. It was tough, especially the Cobra Island things that were supposed to be um, exclusive to Target. You could never find that.
Yeah.
Stuff. People
Yeah.
got sick of it, and then they'd have a show exclusive,
Yeah.
and just forget it. Show exclusive. It's like you'll never get it, and that's aggravating as well.
Yeah. And Blue Splash is saying he was tempted to throw in a towel on those NECA cartoon turtles, but he's glad he didn't because now they're more available now than when I was frustrated to find them a
Mhm.
couple of years back. Yeah, and those are the ones that I was getting. I think I got up to wave what 4 or maybe 5 or something like that. But then, like I said, it was just so hard. I just gave up because I was also getting the Super 7 at the same time. Granted, it took longer to get the Super 7 because you got to pre order, wait 2 years, and then it shows up on your door. But, I just got annoyed with it. You couldn't find it. And and another thing that also annoys me with these toy companies is the store exclusive. This only goes to Target. This only goes to Walmart. This only goes to GameStop. This only goes here. This only goes there.
Yeah.
It's like put the darn figure out and quit playing games. That's another part of that game playing that I
Or
think they
make
were
it
doing.
or make enough, because
Yeah.
again, when KB used to get a lot of Toy Biz exclusives,
Mhm.
when you went into a KB, it was there.
Mhm.
It wasn't like, oh well, the shipment didn't come in, or oh, it was a limited number. No, they had them, and it was a
Mhm.
ton of them. So you didn't have a problem finding the exclusives. Nowadays, you have a problem.
Yeah, and it just takes the fun out of it. I mean, you collect no matter what it is, toys, comics, figurines, dishes, whatever, records. You enjoy going and looking for it. And especially if you say this store is supposed to have it, or you say, okay, I'm going to a show that specializes in this. I have fun going looking for what I want. But then again, you go to a store and that store is supposed to have this and then they don't. And then you ask the employee, and Target is great for this. They purposely put out stuff days in advance, and then you say, "Oh, okay, this is here." So you go to the register, it won't ring up. Oh, we
We
can't
can't sell
sell
it to
that
you.
until this day. So why you put it on the shelf?
Well, somebody made a mistake.
Somebody made a mistake. They did it on purpose. Now that happened to me at Toys R Us once. I went in and it was a figure I wanted, and it was on the shelf. And I tried to ring it up, and it wouldn't ring up. And then the manager came out and was like, "Oh, this isn't supposed to be sold yet, but you found it on the shelf." They rang it up,
Hmm.
and I walked out with the figure.
Yeah,
Now that's how you manage.
that's customer service.
Right. Target could care less. They
Yeah,
play games. They say, "Ooh, watch, we're gonna get some people. They're gonna want this. So let's put it out on the shelf 2, 3 days early and then tell them they
yeah,
can't buy it." You mess around with the wrong person.
that happened to her a couple of times.
Yeah. But you know what? Let it happen again. I bet you I'm gonna get it because I'm gonna ring up something else.
Oh
The
no.
same item, just
Yeah.
same price. I ain't gonna steal it.
Nostalgic says talking about. He says he can't believe hot toy collectors pay crazy prices for figures with leather that falls apart. Yeah, that fake leather,
Yeah,
it'll peel.
yeah.
It will peel, especially in temperature changes.
Those hot toy collectors ain't no joke. They
That
serious
stuff's
about their
expensive.
stuff. Yeah, yeah, they are. And yeah, I don't know why they would use that, knowing that after a while it's gonna fall apart. I'm
People
pretty
still
sure
buy
it's
it.
yeah. I'm pretty sure it's something else they could use that's
Yeah,
better.
like real leather, for example.
Then they're gonna want a premium for that $50 extra.
Munin says they remember collecting NECA Predators when they were 12 at Toys R Us when they were in college and stopped before they hit 30. And that's another thing, too, is the overproduction because they've got over 200 now,
I
don't they?
remember when
Something
it was a
insane.
couple of years
Yeah.
back where they had this big to do about their 200th Predator. So at that point, they had done 200, and that was a few years ago.
Mhm.
So, I'm like, wow, I want to see the person that got every last one of them.
Yeah. Gilgamesh says that they work out at the house. It's easier to keep up.
Hmm.
Videos like P90X and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like those. And we do this one guy, this one guy on YouTube, and he's fun. Um, Millionaire Hoy. I like his videos, but boy, he be moving. But you get good results. I mean,
Hmm.
you do them every day, but he'll wear you out though. But I
And
like those.
Nerd elaborating from way back there. He says, "I meant as you complete collection, your collection is less to buy." Yeah,
Oh
but
yeah, yeah, yeah,
also,
yeah, yeah.
also as you complete your collection of vintage items, the ones that you need are more and more expensive because you can't find them and they're expensive. They cost a fortune.
Yeah, but with vintage toys, at least, and
Hmm.
David says this all the time, at least you can
You
complete it.
can finish it.
But you getting these new stuff like that Black Series or whatever, Marvel
When the
Legends.
hell is it going to end? It's like the Kenner because people say a lot of time I hear, oh, the fun is all in the hunt. No, I want to be done. I'm real happy looking over here and seeing my complete Kenner Chuck Norris Karate Commandos set, and knowing I don't need to buy another one.
Yeah.
There's 11 pieces. That's it. That's it. There's not
Hmm.
going to be another one. And if they suddenly decide they're going to start making Karate Commandos again and they come out with a new line, I don't need it.
Yeah, because you got the
I got the
original.
original ones. I don't need it. So I'm happy with that.
K Muna says
It
it
has its
seems
home gym.
we think we're all on the same wavelength, got a home gym. Because to go to the gym is expensive. You go and you pay. And then once you home, because I always thought there's no way I could work out at home. I got to go to the gym. Because when I was in the military, it was easy to just go to the gym. You just went to the gym.
Hmm.
It was free. They had any class they had was free. Everything was just there. And I always thought, man, there's no way I could work out at home. You don't have no motivation. There's nobody around. And then I started doing it. I bought the P90X
Hmm.
and I started doing that. And I found that it was easy to work out at home. It's easier because you're in the comfort of your own home. You got your equipment. Um, nope, you don't have to wait on nobody. And then you got that guy that sweats up the bench and don't wipe it off and all of that.
McNichol said the new premium wool rooted hair artisan hot toys are going for 1,200, especially the
What?
Wonder Woman WB 100. I wouldn't pay Jack squat for that
Twelve
ever.
hundred
Oh, he's
dollars.
talking secondary market.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say that's a lot.
And Robert says you read the ones on the wall. Just curious.
Yeah, we read all of them before we put it on the wall.
Yeah,
Hey, Shaw Gold, how are you?
Shav. He says here for the first time.
Oh, good. Glad
Glad you
that you were able to make
to
it and you can
join us
sit and
there.
chat with us for a while, see how you like it.
Hmm.
Hopefully, you'll come back.
And Nerd says he tells family and friends if you see any toys say made in Hong Kong, buy it for me. Yeah, because that if it's marked made in Hong Kong, it's probably going to be
Hmm?
70s and early 80s.
Recently made action figures in the 6-digit range. Am I understanding?
Misunderstanding. I think you are, Tuck. He's talking aftermarket prices.
But still,
Yeah.
that's a lot for an aftermarket hot
Yeah.
toy. But then that is true because I had wanted to get the Hot Toys 89 Batman and 89 Joker.
Mhm.
And they go for about $900. And then they had a re-release of the 89 Batman, and I wasn't able to get it. I was so crushed because I really wanted the Hot Toy
Keaton
Batman,
Batman, yeah.
that 89 Batman. And then when they re-released it, it wasn't a re-release. They saw that they had more, and they sold it to you for the original price, the $200 or whatever.
Sure.
Um, and I wasn't able to. I was like, NECA doing all versions of Ninja Turtles comic, Mirage
Mirage
cartoon,
cartoon.
movie versions.
And they're not, NECA's not the only one making them, Robert. There's so many different companies cranking that stuff out. And Trevor says he went to a small toy show and took David and Justice's advice and left without buying. Prices for vintage were worse than eBay, so I pieced out. Yep. And that's an
Peace
important
out quick.
that's an important thing. And I've talked about that before, and that's why I brought it up while we had Justice Curry on Thursday. And if you didn't see that one, check it out. I did a live. LPH wasn't there,
Hmm.
but I did a live with Justice Curry, and we talked about being addicted to toy collecting or spotting things in it. And an important thing, and Roughshod Stocks has joined us. An important thing to consider, you go to a show, like Trevor was just saying, and people will convince themselves they need to get something. Because, and I made the example, yeah, you drove 4 hours to a show, so you get an
Hmm.
8 hour round trip.
Yep.
You bought gas, you paid to get in the show, you bought lunch, you're looking around, there's nothing there, and you're like, nah, damn it, I'm getting something. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to cut your losses.
We've done it.
Yeah, we've done it. We've walked away.
No, we bought stuff.
Oh, well, yeah.
When we first started going and took a 3 hour ride, it was like walked around and walked around and then settled on
Yeah.
buying something that really didn't want, but it's like, man, we drove 3 hours to get here.
Or didn't get that great of a deal
Yeah.
and decided we weren't going to do that anymore.
Yeah. Now we
And so
don't.
now we can walk away from a show if we look around and like, that's a dog.
Yeah.
'Cause it happens. We go to shows sometimes and it's just it's
Nothing
not
there.
appealing. It's not appealing at all. Blue Splash says it's crazy though how Hot Toys have a more premium line that surpasses their normal Hot Toys, which is already expensive.
Hmm.
It is. It's very expensive.
Wow, where do you live? Because our Walmart got a million Ninja
Yeah,
Turtles.
where are you, Shaft?
Shoot. All you see is Ninja Turtles and Transformers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we said hi to Ruff.
Munin says their friend has Hot Toys Luke Skywalker fall completely apart and the clothing
Oh
disintegrated.
Jesus.
Yeah, and I could see that. And I've done figure reviews. I haven't done one in a while, but I used to do that with the 3-0 figures and the Hot Toys figures and Big Chief Studios and stuff like that. And I was not impressed with the quality. I really wasn't, and I did a whole video talking about that in great detail a while back. That you're really not getting the quality you think you are. It might have a really nice sculpt, but is that enough? And Blue Splash, he says, I hate it when collectors and groups want to know your hunting areas.
Yeah.
Hell no, I'm not giving my area out in the social world.
Because they're gonna come and start raging through your area. Now you
Oh,
can't
yeah.
find what you're looking for because they're all down there.
Yeah. And Nostalgic said, I see comments from hot toy collectors and they accept the fact that their figures will degrade and they accept it.
I have a couple of Hot Toys.
Yeah.
What? Like one.
Well, you've got the very first
Mhm.
Predator.
Yes, but that's all the Hot Toys I
I
got.
believe that's it.
I got one coming. Hot Toys blinds people. That's not true.
It blinds them.
Hmm.
You know what it is? It's all the lights and the Deltops. Munin says it's shameful Hot Toys collectors just put up with figures degrading, expensive or not. It's unacceptable.
Well, it's not just Hot Toys, and y'all got to be honest with that. All of these toy lines toy manufacturers, the stuff is degrading and it's too expensive.
Yeah.
The NECAs, the Super
A
Sevens,
lot of
the
the modern stuff.
Hasbro,
Yeah.
all of them things falls apart on you. They talk about hair dryers. Mondo broken David's hand.
That's right. That the 40th anniversary He-Man
Yeah,
snapped in half, taking it out of the package.
exactly. The Mezco, you don't get Mezco because they shipped it to the wrong place.
Yeah, there was
But
a
but
that's a whole fiasco
that
with Mezco.
HasLab, the one figure where the feet was falling off,
Oh no, it was the knee.
the
It
knee or
was
something.
yeah, it
But
was the
still, that thing
HasLab
was $1,000.
Sentinel. No, it
How much
wasn't a
was it?
thousand
Oh,
dollars. It wasn't
well,
that
it was
much.
something.
But the HasLab Sentinel, the knees wouldn't ratchet properly, so he kept falling over. His knees would buckle on him, basically. But it was
Yeah,
still expensive.
yeah.
Gilgamesh
Gilgamesh,
talking about weightlifting,
rider weight
and we
bench.
got a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, we got a lot. I had that stuff. A coworker of mine, some years back, neighbor was moving and wanted to sell his gym equipment, and he was gonna sell it to me. And when I got there, he was like, "You can just have it. I just want it out of the house." And I didn't say a word. I just loaded up my truck. I had the the bench press machines, a bunch of barbells, a bunch of free weights, just a lot of different stuff. And then, just build on. But then if you buy like the P90X, you do a lot of stuff on YouTube. You don't need a lot of equipment, just some hand weights, some kettlebells. Is one guy on YouTube I like to watch. He does kettlebells. All of his workouts are kettlebells and they're tough. And they're pretty good though. What you brought that over here for?
To make the point about the
Oh,
figures, I mean, look at the Talking Adventure Team
mm-hmm.
commander
Yeah.
from the early 70s, because you can see he's the early 70s because he has the hard hands. He doesn't have the Kung Fu grip yet. And he's still fully functional. It's like, this is going to be rough. Can you handle it? He said. He's still functional. He still works. The clothing hasn't fallen apart. The joints, everything still works on him. He's in great shape. And this was made and sold for the bare minimum in
Mm,
the early 70s. And look at him, you
yeah.
know. And
Not falling
yeah,
apart.
he's not falling
Clothes
apart. He's
still
in
on him.
great shape. Yeah, I mean, this is one that has been played with because you can see a little bit of discoloration on the clothing. But why, for a reasonable price, could this be sold in the early 70s for like $3 or something? And he's still fully functional today after having been loved and played with all those years and then put on display and anything else that happened with him. But if I go and buy a modern figure, he falls apart in my freaking hands taking it out of the package. And whereby the equivalent, where this was like maybe $3 in the modern era, I might pay 20 for it. Why am I paying 250 for it and it falls apart in my hands? And I pre-ordered it and had to wait a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Something's really wrong with that.
Even those Hot Toys Star Wars Bad Batch figures from that line, I think Crosshair is going for $900 on the secondary market. Hot Toys collecting is different now. Less production, more demand. Gilgamesh says, I've seen people save up for a show because of that. They felt like they had to spend it. If there's nothing you want, just keep on saving it. Yeah, save
Yeah.
that money for the next show or something else. Or maybe it is something on eBay that you've been watching. And you can save up for it because even though it might cost a bit, the price is still right. Or maybe you can talk to the seller and see if you can work it down a couple of pennies. Love to
Mhm.
wait for the last day of the con when the prices drop.
And that's what Roughshod says. Yeah, and that can happen. You wait till when you get down to the 11th hour, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you can get a better deal because
And
they don't want to have to keep packing it up. I've even said that to people. It's like,
mm-hmm.
you don't want to pack this up again, do you?
No.
Come on, talk to me.
And gold is from the west coast
Of
of
Canada.
Canada. Uh, I had the name in my mind, but now it left me.
And Nick wants to know what we think of the Retro Toy Con in Greenville, South Carolina.
We've been there, and it was pretty good.
Hmm.
Yeah, we plan on going again this year. We didn't go last year
No, we
because my
couldn't do
mom
it.
had got sick during that time, so we didn't go last year. But we've been years past, and we always had a good
And
time. I
we'll
mean, it's
probably go
pretty.
last day of the show
Yeah, we
because this
always
is a
do.
3 day show, that one.
Yeah, yeah, we usually go the last day. The ones here in Atlanta, where it's closer for us, we probably go a little more. But
And
that
in
far, we go
and
on the
in
last day.
particular, the Joe Lanta, we're going to be there all 3 days because we've been invited.
No, Robert, we don't have any dogs.
No, there's no dogs here. And Tuck says he's been to another type of trade show and spent almost nothing. It's not that much fun after a few shows.
Mm-hmm.
And Nerd wants to know if Hot Toys is based in Hong Kong.
Everything
No,
is.
but that's where they make them, I think.
Yeah.
And Gilgamesh says they'd never post a hunt video online. I'd be afraid I'd only be telling scalpers where to go. Oh, yeah?
I think the toy collecting market is right now in a overinflated
Hmm.
bubble. Resellers are trying set the fair prices too high to maximize profit. eBay setting the prices is a deterrent.
And then there's that, this again, and I'll show this picture again. I'm going to have to share this on the Facebook
Yeah.
group so that people can catch it. That this picture's been circulating on the Facebook because it's a bin full of
Star Wars Black Series.
Star Wars Black Series figures clearanced out at $1. Great find. Now $1, $1, because that's what it's come to, folks.
Hmm. Yeah, 30 do have a lot of good figures. I have the
I think they're cheaper anyway.
yeah, I have the Transformers. I like them. Do you have to display your figures under special lighting to keep them from deteriorating?
Uh, Not necessarily. Just keep them in the dark most often. I would keep them away from direct sunlight. And where we are, there's no windows in this room. So cut off the direct sunlight, and when you're not in that room, turn all the lights off
Yeah.
so that it's dark, so that they're not exposed to light constantly.
MediaCom is one of the worst for costume degrading.
Really,
Their 1/6 scale figures clothes break down way too quickly.
I've never handled one myself.
Mm-hmm.
And Blue Splash talking about the GI Joe there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
they're
great
amazing
thing.
and they hold up. They're in great shape, even for as old as they are. As old as they are.
I remember when my late 90s Power Rangers Megazoid was much bigger and better built. Then came 2001, much smaller and cheaper. Even in first grade, I noticed things getting cheaper. David, the reason that vintage figures still work is because they took pride in craftsmanship. I still say waiting years for a pre order is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
and I've talked about that extensively when I brought up the manufacturing model of three, and we did a whole video on that like a year ago, I think, right? The
Longer than that.
manufacturing model,
Hmm.
and um, and how it's you know the modern toy companies are not following any of the models that would be required for quality goods.
David saw that
The
picture
picture on
today
Facebook,
on
yeah, it's been
Facebook.
circulating. It's been getting
Hmm.
around. And Nostalgic said the old Sideshow collectibles sold back in 2000 were better quality and a more fair price. A
Yes.
6 scale collectors to be has to be super realistic fetish.
I got some of the sideshow 2000. I got the Twilight Zone, Outer
Yeah,
Limits, and Universal Monsters. all from Sideshow 1/6 scale. You can
They're
get them
cheap.
all for under $100, usually around the $50
Yeah,
range. I was able to pick them, everyone, all of them except for one from Outer Limits was over $100.
that's
Everything else,
that ant, right?
yes, that
Yeah,
and it
that
and it
sucker's
was hard to find.
that sucker's fragile though.
Yeah, but
You
it
got to be
took me a
careful.
while to find it. But the Sideshow, they made 1/6 scale figures back in the 2000s. Like I said, Twilight Zone, they did Outer Limits, and they did Universal Monsters. And if you go on keep on saying YouTube. If you go on
eBay.
eBay, you can find them all for under $100. A lot of times, again, around the $50 range, sometimes even $35, $40.
Yeah,
So if you wanted like a Universal Monster, they got them box. I got the box ones, but they do have them on the card. They have a carded version. In the card, it looks like the Toy Biz one cards, where it's in, I think it's in the clamshell too, but I know they do have a carded version, and they have the box version, and I have the box version. I think the carded version is cheaper of the Universal Monsters.
and they had some oddballs too. Like they did Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and
Yeah,
they
they did
did
a lot of stuff.
Hogan's Heroes and Monty Python, Holy Grail,
Hmm.
stuff like that. Nerd says they have some of
Yeah.
those.
You know what I would like to find? Some of the war heroes from the DC comics, like now I can't even think of the names of them. But some of the war heroes from the DC comics, I would like to have them.
Hmm.
I know the GI Joe
Oh, you're talking about the
Sergeant
GI Joe
Rock.
Sergeant Rock, yeah,
Yeah, see, in the commemorative, what, 1990s?
something like
I
that.
think it
Yeah,
was the 1990s.
towards the tail end of when they were doing their Hall of Fame body figures.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But I would like if somebody did like some of those, like Sergeant Rock, Sergeant what's the guy from that had the eye patch?
who Sergeant Fury.
Yeah, Nick Fury, that person, the unknown soldier, a couple of just those big
Yeah,
ones like that. I kind of wish that somebody would put those out in a 6 scale, or like a Migos size
yeah,
figure. I would get those.
yeah. I know Sergeant. Well, Remco did Sergeant Rock in the '80s.
Mm,
It was a small figure though.
yeah,
But then, yeah, then it came out again through Hasbro as part of it, loosely connected with their Hall of Fame series.
yeah,
Kind of like they had the Hall of Fame starting lineup figures. They're
yeah,
12 inch. I don't think those really sell for much of anything now. The aftermarket
yeah,
on a lot of that Hall of Fame didn't hold up too well. It's affordable.
yeah,
It's definitely still affordable. Munin says keep showing that picture.
yeah. I mean, but they can do a lot with the Sergeant Fury, because they can have two heads, one with the eye patch, one without.
Mhm.
They can do some stuff.
Or you could give him like a Nick Fury outfit that looks like the '70s one with all the white and blue.
Hmm.
That would be interesting. And Blue Splash said the legends at Ollie's aren't selling at all. Just tell you something. Plus, Hasbro is doing a lot of reissues and not
Mm.
making new sculpts. Yeah, well, what are you going to do? And Nostalgic says he doesn't need dolls that look so real. I'm collecting toys, not museum pieces. Shav wants to know what happens to a company called Dragon 6 Scale. I'm not sure.
I never heard
I'm
of
not
that.
sure about that one.
Yeah, Sideshow did do
Did a lot. They
everything.
did a lot. And Munin says Hasbro's just been reissuing older figures that had any value. Soon the whole series will be in the dollar bin. Even store exclusives are getting reissues. Well, Hasbro even reissued
Oh, really?
their Build-A-Figures in different colors and carded to box them. But it's oh yeah, that's right. Nerd says Sideshow did James Bond. They did. They made tons of them.
I
And
think Dragon is now known as
DID.
DID, who focus on military figures.
Okay.
I have their James Bond figure.
Okay. And we are what? Well over 3 hours.
Yeah.
We are well over 3 hours.
And y'all stuck with us. Thank
Oh
you
yeah,
so
thank you
much.
so much. We appreciate it. Just having a conversation talking
Yeah,
about
just
the
talking. You know how we
things
do.
that we enjoy.
Yeah.
But we're going to go ahead and wrap things up because it's after 10 o'clock here for us,
Hmm.
and we have things to do.
Yeah.
So we will go ahead and sign off, and we of course will say thank you to everybody who was able to join us here this evening.
Hmm.
We hope you had a good time. Hope you got something out of the conversation.
Yeah.
And again, look for the last one that we just did with Justice Curry on Thursday. You could find it if you wanted to. That one's only about an hour,
Yeah.
but if you wanted to see what we did with Justice Curry there, had a little bit of a conversation. We were asked to bring him back,
Yeah.
um, and we will catch you all again another night.